All right, thank you very much, Dave. Yes, we are at the Miles Shootout location, and I'm not sure if these cars, these last two cars that have gone by were exhibition drivers, as they did that just before. I believe this is the beginning of the Miles Shootout. Car 67 went first at 177.5, and then it was Mark Kapner in car 811 at 172.1. Coming across right now, we've got car number 411 putting in a first speed, 123.2.
And as we go through the coverage of the shootout here today, as best we can, we'll try to give you a little information on those who are driving the cars in the shootout today as that information becomes available. 411, Ethan Butke of North Platte, Nebraska, along with Josh Butke, a rookie driver this year. Second year at Sork, they have enjoyed the event as a spectator regularly. Been a dream to participate in the event, and here they are in 2023.
Here comes car number 289. Beautiful blue Mustang. Goes 160.4 for speed number 1.
Aaron Anderson of Lincoln, Nebraska. Every year they feel so fortunate to have the opportunity to participate in Sork with their 2017 Shelby GT 350. And it's great to have them here as part of the shootout here this morning.
Thank you to our Gold Radio sponsors. They include CarQuest of Broken Bow, A1 Auto Repair in Arnold, as well as Mills Hardware in Arnold. Lashley Land and Recreational Brokers as well. Our silver sponsors are Trumbull Repair and Towing, the Callaway District Hospital with the Arnold and Callaway Medical Clinics, Reed's Food Center, Gateway Motors, Trotter Service, Sandhills Corral in Thetford, Anderson Auto Tech, the Smoke Shack, and Wenquist Incorporated as car number 85 goes across next in the 1 mile shootout. 162.9 miles per hour.
Car number 85, that would be Barry Conkin of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Barry, very familiar with this event, competed in 19 of the past 23 Sork races, has been in every loop-to-loop race. Extremely proud to say that he ran the first Sork and the first loop-to-loop race to take place, and it's great to have Barry back as part of Sork here in 2023.
I heard that an Audi RS4 is coming down the track next. Car 91 puts in that speed. 135.5.
Car 91, that's Mike McCullough of Lincoln, Nebraska. Had a tremendous Sandhills Open Road Challenge last year, as he was the 95-mile-an-hour winner. That was in the Sandhills Open Road Challenge, which will take place tomorrow. Participating here in the shootout, says it's always nice to be back in Arnold, Callaway, and Halsey, and the other towns that support and help make this event happen each and every year.
And I just heard the announcement being made that these were, in fact, exhibition runs. So this is the last exhibition run coming through right now. Car number 92 goes 153.5 miles an hour.
Number 92, that's Robert McCullough of Lincoln, Nebraska. Says hi, Western Nebraska. Another fun August trip to the Sandhills. Well, give us an opportunity to just describe how beautiful it is this morning. My goodness, you just could not draw up a better weather day for this event between Cozad and Callaway. Nice little breeze going to keep all the spectators and everybody cool. And speaking of spectators, Jeremy, I think that you and I would both agree, and I think many would agree, as far as spectator-friendly events, of the events that make up the Sandhills Open Road Challenge, this is right at the top. I mean, people can see the entire runway as people make their run in the mile and half-mile shootout. They have stands behind us, and the pasture is full with cars as people sit out in their lawn chairs, and this is one of the most spectator-friendly events that happens with Sork.
It certainly is. You know, at the other events, you get to see them a little bit closer up, and you have that opportunity at the car show and the burnout contest as well. But here you get to see them a little bit more at a distance, but going at the speeds that they go at out on the course in the other two races as well. So, yeah, very spectator-friendly, and the shootout has been going on since 2002. It was added to supplement the Sork race. It's now been emulated by at least 3 other racing organizations. If you folks are wondering where we're at, we are 12 miles north of Cozad on Road 421, or 1 mile west of Callaway, and 16 miles south on the Cozad-Callaway Road. And you're getting a shot there, if you're watching our video stream, from Lucas Bell, who is working the drone camera again this year. And he's flying right up on our location. Can you see us waving?
Oh, we're waving. Okay,
we're waving.
hi.
There's the drone. Lucas Bell, thank you very much for running the drone again this year, getting some great shots from the sky.
Well, as we go back to last year's shootout, if you were wondering what the fastest speeds were and some of the winners from the event a year ago, of course, it is all about speed in this shootout event. And last year, the 1 mile king of the hill was Perry White in his 2000 Chevy Corvette. 186.7 miles an hour was the fastest speed in the 1 mile shootout a year ago. In the half mile, the king of the hill was Jeremy Bolt in his 2002 Chevy Corvette, and he was like a bolt coming across the finish line. 189 miles an hour in just a half mile, folks. That was the fastest from a year ago. And Jeremy, another thing that people will be trying to do, not only are there prizes and awards for the fastest run, but it's all about matching speeds. These drivers will take more than one chance here at the mile and half mile shootout. I think they're anticipating 3 runs today, and they'll look at those. They'll average the top 2, and the closest to matching speeds gets a award for that achievement here today as well.
Yeah, and last year you and I were looking at the results getting ready for today, and last year both of those had to come down to tie breaks, which basically, if your matching speeds are lower than your fastest speed, that means you go into the tie break with a higher speed. So the idea is to have your matching speeds out of the gate so that you can just hammer down for the third one, and if it comes down to a tie break, hopefully you have the fastest speed. And I think that's certainly specifically when I look at the mile from last year, Tommy Dale Vines had matching speeds of 177.7, but he won because of a tiebreak because he was able to put in the fastest speed of 181.7 and also match his other 2 speeds.
Yep, and in the half-mile shootout, matching speed winner was Claire Kurz, who did the same thing, was able to put together 2 runs of exact speeds of 141.1 miles per hour. So those are some of the things we'll kind of be watching for as we go through the shootout here this year. Again, we started the event with some exhibition runs. Always kind of fun to give, and a lot of times in these exhibition runs you have just kind of friends and spectators that go along for the ride so that they can feel what it's like to go over 100 miles an hour in a mile. And we are now getting ready for the actual competition to begin. The 1 mile shootout and half mile shootout events coming up for you live on KBBN 95.3 FM, KBBN.com. And don't forget, we are on the live video stream today as well, which you can access through SandhillsExpress.com, and you can also go directly to the Sandhills Express Facebook page or YouTube channel to view the action here today as well.
You'll continue to see those sponsors scrolling across your screen throughout today's broadcast, but I want to take mention of them here while we have a moment. Thank you to our video broadcast sponsors, CarQuest of Broken Bow, A1 Auto Repair in Arnold, as well as First State Insurance in Arnold, Mills Hardware, the Callaway District Hospital with the Arnold and Callaway Medical Clinics, Ferreter Auto Parts, Broken Bow Legends Neighborhood Grill, Govier Brothers Mortuary with the Arnold and Mullen Funeral Homes, Nebraska State Bank Rods Body and Paint, Cobblestone Hotel and Suites, Power Solutions, Lashley Land and Recreational Brokers, Trotter Service Broken Bow, J.R. Meyer Insurance, Aero Aviation, and the Callaway Market. Thank you very much to all of those great folks who are helping bring you video coverage today. Well, it looks like they're moving up to the half-mile location. They might have some exhibition runs here as well. I'll just kind of try to hear. I'm just kind of realizing we didn't grab a radio as we have in years past, and didn't have one brought to us. So I'm going to try to hear. Usually at this loudspeaker off my left side I can hear pretty well, but we just kind of spot the cars as they come down the first time anyway. Then we'll know the order going through the second time. So as we find out more info, we'll keep going from there and pass it along to you folks. Thanks for tuning in, whether you're watching on video or listening on radio.
And it gives us an opportunity while we wait for the cars to come across to say a big thank you to Great Plains Communications. They are the reason that we're able to do what we're doing right now, and that is to bring you video of today's event and clear audio of today's event as well. It's amazing Great Plains Communications has hooked up internet in the middle of a pasture to allow us to do this, and we certainly want to send out a big thank you to them and how much we appreciate their efforts to make this possible for you today. If you're not able to be here live, able to watch it on our live video stream, again accessible through sandhillsexpress.com. Also, just a big thank you to everybody involved with the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Clay Moore certainly is a person that we bring out specifically. Clay comes out here super early in the morning. He sets up scaffoldings and everything for people to climb up on and put their equipment on so that we can broadcast this event, but also for the PA system as well. Appreciate him. Bob Westbrook is here with the PA system so that the spectators in attendance can listen to what's going on and know who is coming across the finish line here today. So a lot of people give of their time. It's pretty much all volunteer work that helps put on this Sandhills Open Road Challenge, and we certainly give out a big thank you to everybody involved in it. Difficult to name off everybody because we just couldn't do that. We would miss somebody, so we will just give a blanket thank you to everybody involved, and we appreciate their support of the event and their support of what we do to cover the event here on Central Nebraska's News and Sports Source.
And you're seeing come across your screen, those of you that are watching the video stream, you're seeing the mile exhibition run drivers come back. They've already moved all of the half-mile cars up to the half-mile starting line, so that'll be getting underway here soon. One more thank you, and as we're able to put on this video stream, that's been a big part of being able to partner with the SORT committee, and the reason that they're able to have us do this video stream is because of the corporate sponsors that you are seeing on your screen right now. They include Pinnacle Bank, RT Green with 444 Racing, DeKalb Asgrow, Hornaday, as well as Great Plains Communications, Optima Batteries, Pioneer with South Loop Seed, Viera Wireless, Blueprint Engines, and Bex as well. Thank you to all of those corporate sponsors. We'll make sure to thank them a few other times here yet today.
So you want to have a little fun?
Oh, I am up for it.
All right, I'm gonna ask you for your prediction. How fast will we see someone go here today in each event, mile and half mile? I gave you the results of last year. Will we exceed that? Will we have anybody get to 200 and over?
I'm going to wish into existence at least a 190 mile an hour run.
Okay.
I'm hoping for 190. I don't believe that the car that set the record is entered this year. It's Mark Kappner. He's been driving a Corvette more recently in this event. But you remember back, it was one of my first experiences with SORC. I had only come out and done the shootout with Dave a couple of years at that point, and got to sit about 40 feet away from the finish line when he went 220 some miles an hour over the finish line. And to this day, that is one of my favorite radio broadcast experiences to share with people. It's just amazing. But yeah, I'm with you. I hope we break 200 this year. I think it's certainly more capable of doing that in the mile. But I remember a couple of years back, I believe it was a Fox Body Mustang, went in the 180s in the half mile, and that is equally as impressive.
Yeah, well, you'd think back to last year, your half-mile king of the hill was Jeremy Bolt, who hit 189 in a half mile. So that kind of sets the stage for some of the excitement that we'll be witnessing here shortly.
Today's going to be a fun day. Lots of events going on. If you go to sorcrace.com, folks, you can see the full schedule of things that you can check out. Now, I did see that they moved up the burnout contest by a half hour. They moved that up to 3:30 due to the number of cars and kind of wanting to get into that a little bit earlier on. So that is at 3:30. Immediately following this, everybody drives into Callaway and has lunch. So that's not the official car show, but it's a good opportunity to go and see some of the cars parked when they're in Callaway. And I got to tell you, shout out to the citizens of Callaway. They had a cleanup day yesterday after that storm that they experienced recently. And reports I was hearing said that there was probably every chainsaw that exists in Callaway was right there in the park. Lots of different equipment out there. Everyone pitching in and coming together as a town to clean up their park. And Callaway's looking as beautiful as ever, and it'll look nice when everybody drives in there today to have their lunch today. So we should be getting close to the half-mile shootout here. Okay, there's the announce. So the half-mile shootout is going to be starting right now. So everybody is kind of getting in their spots, and all the spectators are lined up really, really well back here. They just made the announcement to have everybody stay at least 200 feet away from the fence. Christy and Shannon are currently maybe breaking that rule. I don't know. But they're in the back of the pickup. They're good to go. Christy and Shannon down in the back of the truck bringing you that angle. Grant up here behind the switcher running the video stream. And Brent Apperson and myself on the air with you again here for the shootout. 2023 half mile about to get started here very, very shortly. And we'll write down these first speeds, and then we will compare those going forward. Again, a couple of different things they can be doing. They can just go for overall top speed, or they can go for those matching speeds. And here comes the first car. Car number 46 coming down. It's an Audi SUV going across the line.
Car number 46, that's Richard Dayton of California. Nice to have Richard a part of the event here today.
111.5 miles an hour for run number 1 for the Audi.
Car number 37 is Jeremy Jones from Laramie, Wyoming, and his 1966 Ford Mustang.
Take a listen to that car and take a look at it going by. A 1966 Mustang, 102 flat.
Jeremy Jones of Laramie, Wyoming, says in our program, Jeremy is a rookie driver, 51 years old, a chiropractor in Laramie, Wyoming. Has been in practice since 1996, been racing in an off-road circuit called Ultra 4 for the past 5 years, and now experiencing the Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
Here comes car number 169. I think kind of talking with the later part of that number with the fact that it's a 1969 Camaro, 133 miles an hour flat.
Car number 173 is next. Samir Dammer from Parkville, Missouri.
So we just saw 169 cross the line. That would be Gus Brown of Colorado. Enjoyed over the years attending and participating in SOAR.
Beautiful white Camaro going next, 173, 128.4 speed being put in on run number 1.
Samer Damer bringing car 173 to the shootout event here this morning out of Parkville, Missouri. Samer, a young engineer and business leader, works in and around the automotive industry.
There goes car 866, a 1966 Nova going 132.8 miles an hour.
Listed in our program as Trenton Zesson out of Malcolm, Nebraska.
Car 816 is next. Claire Kurtz from Palmer, Nebraska, and his 2016 Chevy Corvette.
Here comes our first Corvette, 2016 Corvette of 816 the number. 143.6 miles an hour.
That's Claire Kurz out of Palmer, Nebraska, 7th year at the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. A thrill to race through the Sandhills on the twisty roads, they say. And Claire Kurz was your matching speed winner from a year ago in the half-mile shootout.
Car 234 goes 137.8 miles an hour.
Back to 234 for just a moment. In case you missed it, that's Brian Meslanka of Lincoln, Nebraska, driving car 234.
Car 433 comes across next, going 138.6 miles an hour.
Another one of our Nebraska drivers in the event, Cam Ewalt, coming to us from Blair, Nebraska, says it's their 4th year attending. And like so many, they say thanks to everyone who organizes the event and volunteers to help the event take place.
Just heard it announced. There goes an E85 car from Arnold. Car number 69 goes 157 miles an hour flat.
Car number 69, that's Zach Hagler of Arnold, Nebraska. 2nd year for Zach and the 1st year for Heather, who is serving as the navigator. Locals of Arnold. Of course, they certainly know what SORC is all about, and now they get to experience it as a racer.
Chevy Caprice goes down the line next. Car number 93 goes 118.8 miles an hour on the first of an expected 3 runs.
Car number 93, Bill Meyer of Russellville, Missouri, listed in the program as a rookie driver, but has 4+ decades experience competing in road racing, now giving a shot at SORC.
132.8. I'm sorry, Brent, I missed that car number. It was already moving when I was writing down.
I want to say maybe it was 662.
I think it was a Mustang.
If it was 662, Tom Kudna of Omaha, Nebraska, the driver, 2nd time at the Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
Car 718 goes next, 118.8 miles an hour.
That's Brett Korth of Lincoln, Nebraska. Brett was the 2nd place winner in the 80-mile-an-hour class in the Sandhills Open Road Challenge event from a year ago. We'll see how Brett does in the shootout here today.
2006 BMW coming next. Car number 421, all black with that black soft top.
114.8.
Car number 421, by the way, Roger Tishner of Alma, Nebraska, listed as a first-timer, a rookie driver here at the Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
Oh, here comes the 1993 Honda Civic. I believe it's a hatchback, too. It is. It's a hatchback. Car number 53 coming across next. Kind of like a sea blue sort of color. Goes 94.4 miles per hour.
Car number 53, Michael Metzger from not too far away. Sutherland, Nebraska is where Michael comes to us from, embarking on their 2nd time in the event.
Those Civics are a lot of fun to drive, fun little cars. Here comes our first Dodge Viper, bright yellow, black racing stripes. There it goes, car number 202. 148.1 for the Viper.
That's Ryan Firstenow of Neely, Nebraska. Ryan had a great Sandhills Open Road Challenge a year ago where he was your winner in the 115-mile-an-hour class.
There comes that CT5 Cadillac, 143.1 for Mr. Hornaday.
Jason out of Grand Island, Nebraska. It's a yearly tradition, he says, for him. They take a break from the shooting industry and go to the Sandhills to have fun with a bunch of friends and fast cars. Nice to have Jason back here in 2023.
Here comes car 888. Putting in a 133.3.
Scott Minton, Overland Park, Kansas, in car number 888. Scott from Overland Park, Kansas. 6th year at the Sandhills Open Road Challenge, his 4th as a driver.
His 2006 Dodge Magnum.
And coming across the finish line is car number 186, putting together a speed of 126.7 miles per hour.
That's a cool looking car. It's one of those Magnum, I don't know if you call it an SUV or I guess you call it a wagon.
974 is next. Brent Skiles from Holdridge, Nebraska.
From right down in Holdridge comes the car 974. Right across there with the Corvette. All ones on there. 111.1 miles an hour.
Car number 974 that just went, that's Brent Skiles of Holdridge, Nebraska. Love coming to Arnold to enjoy the scenery and hang out with friends that have been made and fellow racers.
Ford Mustang.
Car 717, beautiful sounding Mustang, goes 136.4 miles an hour.
That's Matthew Hazenauer of North Platte, Nebraska. Matthew, the driver, lists in our program Kelly Hazenauer as the navigator. Entered Sork last year, had a great time, and as you can tell, when you participate in this event once, it's hard to not keep coming back, and it's great to have the Hazenauers with us again this year.
Car 279 goes up next. A beautiful white Mercedes goes 129.1 miles an hour.
Car 605 is next. Jack Schmidt from
Go back to car 279 for just a moment. Carly Bates, Eagle Mountain, Utah, the driver of 279.
There goes car 605, our next Cadillac in the entry list, 127.6 miles an hour.
That's Jack Schmidt of Willow Lake, South Dakota. In the program it says Jack's second year with son Jake competing in Sork. Believe they were in the loop-to-loop maybe yesterday as well.
There goes our first Tesla, car number 265. Goes 137.4 miles an hour. Beautiful looking red Tesla tapping on the brakes as it gets down its speed in the distance.
That was Tom Starr of the capital city of Nebraska, Lincoln. Grew up in the Sand Hills, did Tom. Worked the summers on a ranch through high school, and now he's back in the Sand Hills racing through it.
Car 943, I believe I just heard that the driver is from Canada. Goes 149 miles an hour. That might be the record for furthest away to come and compete in the competition this week.
Yes, 943, Quentin Dolson of Ontario, Canada. Rookie driver, first year for Quentin. Quentin Dolson, the driver, navigator Pat Chinnick of Canada.
There goes a Ferrari, car number 7. Goes 160.4 miles an hour, and I do believe that's our fastest speed so far here in the half-mile shootout.
Car 64 is next. Robert.
Car number 7, who just posted that speed, Kirk Sharp of Valentine, Nebraska.
Car 64, beautiful looking Porsche, goes 145.7 miles an hour.
Car number 64, driven by Robert Dysart of Texas. Posted in the program as another rookie driver. As you can tell, this event really has made noise to other road racers across the nation, so a lot of people trying it out for the first time.
Car number 28 coming across a little bit slow there at the later part of that run, 48.5 miles an hour. Now speeds up immediately after going across the finish line, so hopefully everything with that car is okay.
That was Ralph Johnson of Waukene, Kansas. Said someone told him you need to enter the Sand Hills Open Road Challenge. So he did, and it's good to have him with us here in 2023.
Car 589 coming to us next from Colorado, sounds like. Beautiful red Camaro goes 146.7 miles an hour.
Yeah, Alan Edmiston of Longmont, Colorado. Another driver listed as a rookie participant here at Sork. And it sounds like we have another Colorado driver following on the raceway.
Didn't see a number on that car.
I didn't either.
I recognize the car from being in the book, but I didn't see a number on the car. It goes 143.9 miles an hour. We'll try to catch that next time. Car 302 up next, Mr. Smith in his Boss Mustang, Shelby Mustang, I believe. Oh yeah, it's a Boss 302, obviously, with the number.
That was Chad Smith of Alliance, Nebraska. Says it's their 10th year at the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Love coming to the community of Arnold, and the surrounding communities have put on this event, and they love going up against the other competitors each and every year.
Porsche coming up next, car 33. And just like that, there goes the Porsche. 137.7 miles an hour.
That was Adam Rogers of Durango, Colorado. Adam saying that he's been competing in SORC for over 10 years. They circle the date every year. For them, it's like Christmas in August.
1983 Camaro coming up next, and it is car 83. Cruise and ride along. See their white helmets in there. Packed up in their fire suits, going 86.6 miles an hour.
That's Keith Bisson of Iowa. After many years of watching the SORC, they happened upon the car that they are driving today, and they figured, you know what, no more excuses, let's get involved. And Keith Bisson returning to the shootout here this year. He actually placed third in the matching speeds for the half mile a year ago.
Car 50.
Car number 50 comes across. I thought that was a Mazda Miata, and it was. It's just significantly louder than what you normally hear. 134.4.
Another rookie driver for SORC posted in the program. That's Jim Stainer of Jonesboro, Arkansas, making the journey to the Sandhills.
Car 511 up next. That Camaro's moving pretty quick. Is it going to beat the top speed? It's not, but it does go 146.7 miles an hour.
Number 511, Alan Golden of Minnesota. 5th year of racing at the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. 6th year of participation if you include volunteering.
Here comes a black Mustang, 2004. Can hear that supercharger whining as it goes past. Car 45 goes 123.2 miles an hour.
That was Greg Kruger of Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Another rookie driver posted in the program. Greg says wanted to be a race driver as a kid, now get to do it, and taking his best friend along as a navigator this year.
Here goes car 675, a gorgeous silver car, comes across at 127.7 miles an hour.
Vishal Singh, I hope I pronounced that right, from Lincoln, Nebraska, another rookie driver. Vishal and the person serving as the navigator grew up about an hour from Arnold in a small town. As kids, they were obsessed with cars, and now they are here competing.
Car 111, one of the vehicles I believe we saw in the exhibition runs, if I'm remembering right, goes 128.8 miles an hour.
Chris Edwards of Aurora, Colorado, first time participating in the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Attended last year to cheer on Tim Compton. And once you come here to cheer on somebody and you find a car you can race, pretty soon you're involved racing too, and that is the situation with Chris this year.
Car 585 is a 1968 Camaro that goes 113.3 miles an hour.
That was Jay Nightingale of Sheridan, Colorado. As you can tell, a good number of people from Colorado come and participate here in the Sandhills Open Road Challenge events.
Car 911 comes up next, one of those newer looking Corvettes. They said Viper. I thought maybe that was a Corvette, but we'll see.
That was Jason Walsh of Kearney, Nebraska. Like pretty much everybody who competes in this event, wanting to say thank you to the volunteers and organizers for this tremendous week.
From Gothenburg comes car 113, 132.7 miles an hour.
That was Brock Anderson of Gothenburg, Nebraska. In matching speeds a year ago, he took second place in the half mile, had matching speeds of 129.2 to finish second in the matching speeds competition of this half mile shootout a year ago.
Car number 23 coming up next. At Challenger goes 121.1 miles an hour.
Les Steinoff driving car number 23, making the long journey from the state of California to be in Nebraska this week.
Comes car number 58 from my home address, Bennington, Nebraska. Car number 58 coming across, a beautiful red car. And the speed comes in as 120.2 miles an hour.
That was Rodney Bilderback, as Jeremy mentioned, from Bennington, Nebraska.
Those Acura NSXs are so cool. And they're going to put the Bennington guys back to back. They're going to have this Subaru coming from Bennington as well. It's a Subaru BRZ. These are very cool cars. It's coming down next.
And that was John Slack as he crosses the finish line at 106.8. John Slack, again, as Jeremy mentioned, also of Bennington, works in the IT department of Union Pacific.
Here's a familiar name, Lyril Holt. This Tesla is going so fast. This might be our top speed so far. It is 164.2, all electric, moving.
Lyril Holt of Overland Park, Kansas, making that run. They do divide these up into different classes, and if you go back to a year ago in the half-mile street class, first place in the half-mile shootout, your winner was Lyril Holt, who just made that run.
This green Charger is a favorite of many because of its bright color. It's car number 19. Bright green. Goes across the finish line at 114.7 miles an hour.
Back to car number 19 for just a moment. Let you know that it was driven by Clint McKenzie of Crete, Nebraska.
From Halsey, here comes car 308, the area code on the side. At Black Camaro, the Tehans goes 113.9 miles an hour.
Yeah, great to have Michael and Matt Teon back with us. Of course, they participated in the loop-to-loop race yesterday. Got started on navigation at the first loop-to-loop race. Had no idea what exactly they were in for, but man, have they enjoyed being a part of this event. Great to have the Teons back with us here in 2023.
There goes Barry Conkin in car number 85, 137.5 miles an hour. I believe 2020 was the first year of the mid-engine Corvette. I love those cars.
Barry Conkin, certainly no stranger to the Sork race, has competed in 19 of the past 23 Sork races in every loop-to-loop.
There goes the Lamborghini. Car number 40 goes 152.6 miles an hour.
Car number 40, that would be Darren Brewer of Gretna, Nebraska.
I believe I heard car number 91 coming up next. It's our next Audi entry. And it comes across, beautiful black color with chrome trim. And across the line goes 116.6 miles per hour.
That was Mike McCullough of Lincoln, Nebraska. Always nice to be back in Arnold, Callaway, Halsey, and the surrounding area in August, he says. Getting to drive and navigate in these events are always a pleasure, and it's great to see old friends and always make some new ones.
Next car is a 2023 Corvette, as new as you can get right now. Goes 138.7 miles an hour.
Well, right before that, Mike McCullough, that would be Robert McCullough of Lincoln, Nebraska. Another fun August trip to the Sandhills. Always looks forward to the SORC competition.
Car 261 brings plenty of audio. Goes 146.8 miles an hour.
Car 261 driven by Jeremy Fox of Lincoln, Nebraska, making his first appearance at the Sandhills Open Road Challenge events.
Car number 11, this is a fast Corvette coming across. 161.4 miles an hour.
Car number 11, Eric Schmidt of Lincoln, Nebraska, 22nd year attending the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. He is a veteran for sure.
There goes that. Wow, 209.4 in the half mile from the Nissan GTR.
Steve Tasca, Colorado Springs, Colorado, gets everybody to their feet going over 200 miles an hour in a half mile. Wow.
Well, and I was guessing 190 in either the half mile or the mile. He just kind of took care of that right out of the gate. Amazing. So there we go. That is the end of the half mile runs. They will move back to the mile starting line, and those mile runs will come your direction next. We're going to go ahead and take this opportunity to send it back to the studio for a 60-second timeout, and we'll be back with more after this from the Shootout site of SORC 2023.
When you go to the auto parts store, you want to talk to people who know cars. For Lewis and the crew at CarQuest in Broken Bow, it's not just a job, it's their lifestyle. Did you know they offer fleet and farm accounts that give you significant savings on heavy-duty filters? Swing by and ask about it soon. They continue to offer services like making hydraulic hoses, parts washing, and turning rotors. Open Monday to Friday, 7:30 to 6, and Saturday, 7:30 to 3. CarQuest on West Highway 2 in Broken Bow.
When your car needs fixed, getting it running right is all you should have to worry about. The last thing you need is wondering if the shop you're taking it to is honest and trustworthy. You won't worry about that at all with A1 Auto Repair in Arnold. They offer a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on non-wear items to give you peace of mind. Ask for a complimentary digital inspection to save headaches down the road. They invite you to the action and fun of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Proud to sponsor coverage, A1 Auto Repair in Arnold.
All right, everybody, welcome back, and we are moving back to 1 mile. And those are going to get started here soon while we have an opportunity. Want to again thank some of our sponsors. We'll thank our radio sponsors again. Our gold sponsors, CarQuest Broken Bow, A1 Auto Repair in Arnold, as well as Mills Hardware in Arnold, and Lashley Land and Recreational Brokers. Our silver sponsors are Trumbull Repair and Towing, Callaway District Hospital with the Arnold and Callaway Medical Clinics, Reed's Food Center, Gateway Motors, Trotter Service Broken Bow, Sandhills Corral in Thedford, Anderson Auto Tech, The Smoke Shack, and Wenquist Incorporated. Gold and silver sponsors, of course, both bringing you coverage on the air as well as driver interviews that you will hear throughout the week. A shout out to our bronze sponsors as well: Pinnacle Bank of Arnold, First State Insurance of Arnold, RTA's Hardware Broken Bow, Bierman Vet Services, BD Broken Bow, Mount Custer Truck Sales, and State Farm Insurance Agent Donna Cahill in Broken Bow and Gothenburg. And the video sponsors are scrolling across your screen. I'll give them another shout out a little bit later on as we work our way further into the broadcast. But Mile Shootout, always a lot of fun, Brent. You know, obviously you have a lot more time to get your speed up there, but it's also more difficult because you have more time for your speed to fluctuate. It gets maybe a little bit more difficult to get those matching speeds together.
Well, what a way to end the half-mile shootout. If you're just tuning in, Steve Tasca of Colorado Springs, Colorado, went over 200 miles an hour. And that is easily the fastest that we saw in that half mile.
I wonder if that's the stock engine. I believe those are a 6-cylinder twin-turbo engine straight out of the factory. So it's a very cool car. And we've got Helicopter flying in right now, usually a helicopter on hand just in case. So it's arriving to be here for the rest of the shootout. Mentioning the mile, Perry White, remember, 186.7 miles an hour in the shootout last year. Looking at the matching speed winners, we mentioned Tommy Dale Vines went 177.7 twice. And then on the tie break, his fastest time was 181.7. Todd Gransky went second in the mile last year. He had matching speeds of 173.8 miles an hour. And as far as the fastest speeds last year, in the 1 mile unlimited, Matt Voss went 177.6. And in Super Street, Perry White went 186.1. And in Street, Chad Christensen went 178.3. So the helicopter will come around to get landed, and car number 10 is going to be the first car of our mile shootout. And car number 10, dark gunmetal gray Mustang, goes 161.6 miles per hour.
That would be local boy Jeff Preston of Arnold, Nebraska, getting us started in the 1 mile shootout. Jeff, of course, very familiar with this event, being a local boy. Always looks forward to it each and every year. Had a second place finish in the 105 mile an hour class in the Sandhills Open Road Challenge race a year ago.
And again, on the mile, we have a little bit more time to talk between each of these cars as they come down. The helicopter hovering about 15 feet off the ground now, making its way down over our right shoulder. So we'll wait for the announcement of the next car.
Give us an opportunity to remind you that we will be live for the Sandhills Open Road Challenge tomorrow. We'll have the start for you right there at Arnold, Nebraska, and you'll be able to view it on our live video stream on sandhillsexpress.com, on the Sandhills Express Facebook page and YouTube channel, and we'll be broadcasting the entire race for you on KBBN 95.3 FM and KBBN.com tomorrow.
Car 811 announced as coming up next, Mark Kampner, making his way up over that one little miniature crest of a hill on this mostly flat terrain.
I think you can say that Mark is certainly a veteran of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge as he crosses the line. Mark out of Idaho Falls, Idaho.
170.1 miles an hour, and Mark, in fact, pictured in the program, and they make mention of it here. They say that's his slow car that goes 170.1. Mark, of course, I believe still holds the record for the fastest time here at the shootout site. Went over 220 miles an hour a few years back. Next car coming up over the crest of the hill as we're here in the mile shootout on the Cozad-Callaway Road. Car number 59, a black Corvette, comes across and goes 158.9 miles an hour.
Car number 59, driven by Kevin Hanshoe of Wichita, Kansas. Lists Rick Kane as his driving partner. They're both so happy to be attending the Sandhills Open Road Challenge for the 4th year. Looking forward to the event each and every year now. One thing that makes this event so special is the people that are here to put on the event.
Car 999 up next, a blue Dodge Viper with white rally stripes down the middle. 172 miles an hour flat for car 999.
And that was Jack Jones of Iowa coming to Central Nebraska here this year. Jack is retired, which allows him the opportunity to participate in events such as the Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
Here comes a Mustang colored the opposite of the Viper that went before it, white with blue stripes. Car number 25 goes 171.5. He's moving right along.
That's Leroy Uhrig of Pierre, South Dakota. Great time is had by all when this time of year comes around, according to Leroy. Thanks to the Sork Board and the safety and fire crews that keep everybody safe during this event. Glad that Leroy brings that up because there are so many that volunteer in that aspect of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge events. That's the safety and fire crews making sure everybody has a safe venture.
Car 15 is next, 163.3. As far as color scheme goes, that's my favorite car. An orange car with purple numbers on the side and the blue on the bottom. It's beautiful.
That was Kelly Bork of Sioux Center, Iowa. Another individual that's listed as a rookie driver in our program. Came to Sork last year with Barry Conkin, and he just said, wow. And so Kelly knew that he had to get involved, and here's Kelly from Iowa participating in 2023.
Passenger in car number 67, you could see their glove waving side to side. They were waving as they drove by at a good casual 177.7 miles an hour. That's how you know someone's into going fast, when they're not clutching onto the sides of their seats or the roll cage. They're just waving as they go by.
Well, that was Todd Gransky of Utica, Nebraska. He was your second place winner in the matching speeds category in the 1 mile shootout. Had matching speeds a year ago of 173.8 miles an hour to finish second in that category.
Here comes a 2012 Mustang. It's car number 462. Runs down the mile course next and goes 155.8 miles an hour.
Number 462, that's Jason Rader of Lincoln, Nebraska. Had a great run in the Sandhills Open Road Challenge a year ago, where he was your 100-mile-an-hour class winner at the Sandhills Open Road Challenge, which, of course, will take place tomorrow, starting in Arnold.
Up next in the mile comes car number 289. Beautiful deep blue color Mustang.
162.2.
289, that's Aaron Anderson of Lincoln, Nebraska. Every year they feel so fortunate to have the opportunity to participate in this event. Aaron, an IT manager in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Car 529 coming from Roca. I got my pants scared off. That's where Rocaberry Farm, isn't it? I think that's where that is. Haunted maze I went on there. Never again. And I've got bad memories of Roca. 182.7.
That is Chad Christensen of Roca, Nebraska. In the street class of the 1 mile shootout, Chad was the winner a year ago, averaging 178.3 miles per hour. Goes over 180 in his first run here in 2023.
We've got some comments in the chat box here. We'll get to those after car number 5 comes by. Beautiful red Corvette, goes 166.9 miles an hour. One of those comments, Brent, said, my brother can hit 200 miles an hour in his 09 GTR. Watch out for Scuba Steve. So we were warned, we just didn't see the comment in time. We should have known it was coming.
2008 Chevy Corvette.
By the way, the one who just crossed the line was Wayne Hora of Stapleton, Nebraska. 23rd time of competition in Sork. They've been here every year.
Car 8 is a red Corvette as well, a little bit newer model, goes 183.5 miles an hour, and I believe, yes, that is our fastest speed so far in the mile.
And that was John Schmidt of Lincoln, Nebraska, posting that speed. Happy to be back for Sandhills Open Road Challenge 2023.
We know this next guy, RT Green. Folks, you'll have a hard time finding a nicer guy than this gentleman here. Transplant from California to Arnold. He fell in love and stayed here. Here comes RT Green in car 444. His purple Challenger goes 154.5 miles an hour.
Well, you heard Jeremy share the story of RT Green, now an Arnold resident. For the last couple of years, it's been hard to visit with friends and neighbors. Looking forward to seeing all of his fellow racers and friends this year. Again, want to thank the hundreds of volunteers that make this race and event the best in the country, according to RT.
Here comes the next vehicle. This is a Corvette, car 112. Goes 171.2 miles an hour.
And that's Jared, I'm going to say Helge, Helge, of Fort Wayne, Indiana. Was really successful in the big Sandhills Open Road Challenge race a year ago, where he was second in the 115 mile an hour class.
969.
Of course, Jared will be among the competitors in that tomorrow between Arnold and Dunning.
Whoa, here comes car 969. Sounds awesome. Popping the exhaust across. Just misses 200 miles an hour. Goes 199.3 miles an hour.
969, was I right on that?
I believe
car
so,
number?
yes.
All right, Dan Rohrbach of Aberdeen, South Dakota. Just missing that 200 mile per hour mark. 199.1. Dan Rohrbach of Aberdeen, South Dakota, posting the speed.
Jared Roberts from Gretna, Nebraska.
Coming out of Gretna is a 2015 Corvette. Car 650, beautiful snow white color. 151.3 miles an hour.
Car number 650, that's Jared Roberts of Gretna, Nebraska, third generation Nebraska. 11th year participating in the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Certainly one of the highlights of the year for Jared, he says. Driving the car and viewing all the truly big iron at the event is fantastic, but the best thing about the race is the people that help put it on.
Thank you for your comment. Steven says, nice video. I like what you guys have so far with the cameras. He said the salt cams from Bonneville are lame as can be. Well, we're trying our best, Steven. Not bad for a few radio guys, right? And this next car slowing down at about the half-mile mark, and we'll see if it pokes its head out. Yep, there they come. Hopefully everything all right with this car. Could be part of the strategy. You always got to, you know, now they're picking it up a little bit. And recover back up to a 148 mile an hour speed. I think they were kind of slowing down there in the middle, but popped it right back into gear.
That was Perry White of Brainerd, Minnesota. In the mile shootout in the Super Street class, Perry was your winner a year ago. An average speed of 186.1 miles per hour. He was also the king of the hill in the 1 mile shootout a year ago.
Again, thank you to all the video sponsors you're seeing scroll across your screen. Appreciate them making that available to you today. If you do business with them in the future, please take a moment to thank them as car 392 comes across next and goes just over 150 miles an hour at 150.3.
392, Scott Fry of Loveland, Colorado. Officially hooked on the Coltrane Racing at Sork in 2016. Coming back every year now is Scott Fry of Loveland, Colorado.
Mr. Asksummit comes up next from Colorado in car number 77. Next onto the track. Beautiful bright yellow Corvette. 164.7 miles an hour.
As Jeremy mentioned, Dan, another one of our Colorado participants coming out of Broomfield, Colorado. Been doing Sork since 2003, and he's been involved in every loop-to-loop race that has taken place, hoping to get in on the action and experience everything that is Sork and the welcoming community of Arnold, Nebraska.
Here comes another yellow Corvette. This one wears number 221 on its side. 221 goes 161.2 miles an hour here in the 2023 1-mile shootout. We're in round number 1.
Number 221, another Colorado participant, Jay Hill out of Thornton, Colorado. Jay says always wanted to have a Corvette, but with raising their family and all the other priorities, it just didn't seem possible. So there were no more thoughts about that subject. But then in 2016, it all changed. And it's great to have Jay out of Colorado as part of the Sand Hills Open Road Challenge.
Car 690 comes across next. I believe that's the Chevy Corvair. It goes 161.7 miles an hour.
And that would be Bob Brownell of Laramie, Wyoming. Been a gearhead and a need for speed guy all his life, he says. Mini bikes, homemade go-karts, etc. Raced late model stock cars in Illinois and Wisconsin back in the mid-'80s to 1995. Now a part of road racing as Bob Brownell of Wyoming competes here at the Sand Hills Open Road Challenge 1-mile shootout.
Coming up next, car 315. Beautiful Mustang comes across, bright red, goes 172.9 miles per hour.
And that's Kevin Miller of Littleton, Colorado. Kevin, an electrical engineer hailing from Littleton, Colorado.
This next car leaving a little bit of rubber at the starting line. You could see the smoke with the naked eye from this far away. Here comes car number 606 now down the 1-mile track. Or truck, I should say, 606.
And this is Joe Hackman of Kansas.
145.5.
145.5 miles an hour. I'm going to turn on the walkie-talkie for this next part, Brent, because I got to give Christy a little bit of a hard time.
Well, okay.
You know, earlier, just a little bit ago, about 3 cars ago, I just nicely waved down to Christy and Shannon, and what I get an eye roll back. I just was waving nicely, and all I get is an eye roll back, Brent. What's up with that? Do you know?
Oh, she gave you a thumbs up.
Oh, she says I did a thumbs up, but it came with an eye roll. They were supplemental items. There goes car number 381, 156.9. I'm not completely confident on that last numeral I gave you right there, Brent.
Car number 88 is next. Daniel Metzger Jr. from North Platte, Nebraska.
381 or 321?
Maybe it was the middle numeral I had a problem with.
I think maybe it was
321.
321.
Yeah.
That would be Jim Miller of North Platte, Nebraska, making that last run.
All right, up next comes our next vehicle in the 1 mile. Again, I'd say we're probably about 20 cars into the 1 mile vehicles here. This is that Mercury Grand Marquis. Car number 88 comes across. Got the side pipes. Sounds beautiful. Nice, mellow, low rumble to it. 113.3 miles an hour.
Daniel Metzger of North Platte, Nebraska, 3rd year competing, 2nd year driving in the Sand Hills Open Road Challenge events.
Appreciate all of the drivers listening as well. Got to give them a shout out. I know a lot of the drivers like to listen to the broadcast in their cars because they don't immediately know their speed when they come across the finish line. Happy to pass that along to you folks, and thanks for tuning in as you wait in line to go down in front of this great crowd of spectators here this morning. As there goes car number 411 down the 1 mile track next. 123.8 miles an hour.
Another one of our North Platte participants, Ethan Butke, listed as a rookie driver.
Those of you watching the video stream, you'll see the starting line right over there on the far left part of your screen. The cars disappear for only a slight second before they come back over, and the next camera to take over would be the one that Shannon is. Oh, there's the drone, and then there's Shannon on that camera there as car 313 goes by. One of my favorite generations of Chevy Camaro goes 157.2 miles an hour. That's 79 Camaro. Beautiful.
Number 313, James Luby of Beaver Crossing, Nebraska. Third year of competing in the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Favorite week of the summer, according to James, and I think that, well, probably pretty much everybody who competes in this event would agree with him on that statement.
Porsche Boxster coming up next on the track. Gray in color. Wearing 981 on the side. Another soft top. It goes 162 flat.
That was Andrew Ranft of Garden Ridge, Texas. Been coming to Nebraska for many years and loved the event because of the people who host it. Andrew goes by AJ, was a fighter pilot in the Air Force and flew the T-38 as an instructor and flew the F-15A and 15C in New Mexico and Okinawa, Japan. Great to have Andrew back here for 2023.
Corvette coming up next. All black. Just the white numerals and the sponsors are a different color. That is car 311. 162.2 miles an hour.
Posting the speed, James Lockhart of Lincoln, Nebraska. Listed in the program as a Sork sophomore. Loved everything about their rookie year. Wonderful people, great volunteers, great community, beautiful area, and awesome events.
Here comes a fellow Jeremy, 343. Do us Jeremy's proud here. Beautiful gray Corvette. Well, and that Jeremy goes much faster than this Jeremy has ever gone in a car. That's 171.5 miles an hour.
And that's Jeremy Gosson of Papillion, Nebraska. Gosson Brothers Racing is delighted to participate in the 2023 Sandhills Open Road Challenge, with Jeremy Gosson being the driver out of Papillion, Nebraska.
If I heard correctly over the loudspeaker, this is our next 2023 Corvette. And I heard incorrectly. That is not, oh, it's 203. That makes sense. 161.2 miles an hour. It was a Corvette, though.
John Luckin of Omaha, Nebraska, a retired tool and die maker. Coming back to the Sandhills Open Road Challenge, and in the program it says, hello to Jeremy Shipe.
Are you serious?
Right there.
Oh, man, I made it in the book.
So John says hello to Jeremy Shipe.
Well, hey, John,
there
if you're listening on the radio, hey back. Here comes car number 426, beautiful blue Mustang. 170.9 miles an hour.
Doug Jones of Ipswich, South Dakota. They look forward to the event every year, meeting up with the people. They have a farm and trucking operation. Doug Jones back here at the Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
Here comes our next vehicle in the 1 mile. It's a Camaro. I think they call these a catfish Camaro. 187 on the side of the car. Goes 158.3 miles an hour. Lots of mile entries. While you're reading this next bio, I'm gonna figure out what car we're on here.
All right. Number 187, which just finished, that's Dustin Sabatka of Valparaiso, Nebraska. Been a part of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge and coming here since 2007.
This is the 34th car coming up next, so we're a ways into the mile shootout here. Ford Mustang GT, kind of a canary yellow. Car 696. Puts in a 132.7 mile an hour speed.
Car number 696, Bob Bixler of Lincoln, Nebraska. Loves the event. Great place to test his building, mechanical, and driving skills.
Car 133 is next. Joe Wolf from Pierre.
Here comes car 133. Sounds like they're coming to us from South Dakota. from Pierre, South Dakota. That's where Jeff Bailey relocated to recently. Maybe his name's in the program. Wouldn't that be crazy if he was navigating? 148.6 speed.
And that was Joe Wolf from Pierre, South Dakota. Little bit about Joe. Owns a glass shop, Chandler Glass, in Pierre, South Dakota. Always looks forward to seeing friends in Arnold every race season.
Car 333, Michael Rasmussen up next. Here in the mile shootout, 2023. Remember this car from year in and year out? It's that 95 BMW. $133.8 miles an hour for the 95 BMW car 333.
Michael Rasmussen coming to us from Plattsmouth, Nebraska.
Car 65 is next.
He says in his bio the goal is always to keep the car on the road and off the roof while having fun. But if a plaque ends up in their hands on awards night, that would be icing on the cake. And we'll see if that happens for Michael Rasmussen as we go through the events of today and tomorrow.
Here comes the noise. It's the Eckbergs. The beautiful 1965 Corvette goes 158.3 miles an hour. We're a few hundred feet away from the road, and that one still is loud from this distance.
Yep, always a fan favorite. The Eckbergs have been here year after year. They come to us from Wakefield, Nebraska. 23rd year in the same car. They've brought it every year, folks, and it continues to be a crowd favorite. Nick and Lyle Eckberg of Wakefield, Nebraska.
This might be one of the bigger crowds that I've seen out here at the shootout. It stretches a long ways on both sides of the road. Here comes our next pickup. This is pickup 720. 137.9 miles an hour.
That's Matt Vos of Pella, Iowa. In the mile shootout a year ago in the unlimited class, Matt was your first place winner. 177.6 miles per hour in 2022.
Car number 32 is next. Bill Schneider from Malcolm, Nebraska, and a 2004 Pontiac
Car 32 up next. This is that Pontiac NASCAR. It literally is a NASCAR vehicle. Kind of a quick shutdown of power there after going across the finish, waiting for a speed to come up on the screen. Not seeing one yet. There it is, 166.4 miles an hour. We're starting to see kind of these unlimited class cars come across. That means maybe we're getting close to the end of the mile shootout here soon.
Car number 32, which just passed, Bill Schneider of Malcolm, Nebraska. And it sounds like that was our final run in the 1 mile shootout.
All right. I'm never on top of things like that. That was, in fact, the last car of the mile shootout right after I said it. Oh, boy, Brent, I'm just on top of things this morning. I tell you what.
Your name was in the program. My goodness, buddy,
man, I don't know what I did to deserve that. My name doesn't make it in a program anywhere, even when I'm like actively in the event. Pretty sure when I played basketball in high school, they just left my name off the roster a few times. But they're giving everybody an opportunity to walk up to the fence. It's a great tradition here at the half mile and mile shootout. The parade of cars will go back from our right to our left and get set up for run number 2. So this gives us an opportunity to send things back to the studio and hear from some of our sponsors. We'll be back after a 3-minute timeout.
exciting road racing action of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Mills Hardware in Arnold. They have 350 feet of strong, reliable, consistent Milwaukee tools that they want you to see. 3 aisles of Milwaukee tools that lead the industry in durability and performance. They are proud to be the area's premier Milwaukee connection at Mills Hardware in Arnold. Happy to support the Sandhills Open Road Challenge Race Week.
Lashley Land Recreational Brokers is proud to be servicing the Custer County area, and currently land is moving at a high rate of speed. So if you are considering selling your land, now is the time, or get an opinion of what your land might be worth. Call me, John Farley, at 308-530-7854, or check me out at lashleyland.com.
When you need towing or transport, it often comes at a time that you didn't see coming. That's why Trumbull Repair and Towing Service offers it 24/7. So when you're stranded and need emergency roadside assistance, call Dan at 870-2127. Trumbull Repair offers mechanical service, welding, and mobile welding. Trumbull Repair and Towing Service, a half-mile east of Callaway on Highway 40, but serving the entire area. Call 870-2127.
The Callaway District Hospital, along with the Arnold and Callaway Medical Clinics, love supporting the community, and they're very excited for the SORC organizers as they get ready for the Open Road Challenge. The Callaway District Hospital and Medical Clinics want to remind you of their public transportation service. Call 308-212-0464 to schedule a ride today. Areas served and destinations requested will be evaluated on a first-come, first-served basis. Enjoy the excitement of SORC from the Callaway District Hospital and the Arnold and Callaway Medical Clinics.
At Reed's Food Center in Arnold, they're proud to have served the Arnold community for over 40 years. They remain committed to providing outstanding customer service to everyone who comes through their doors. They're proud to keep local dollars in Arnold, offer the best selections at low prices, and embody small-town friendliness in everything they do. From catering, custom meat cutting, seasoning and tying roasts, to carrying your groceries to your car. Reed's Food Center in Arnold. Like their Facebook page or visit reedsfoodcenter.com. When you're searching for a vehicle you can depend on, it helps to shop where you have a large variety to choose from. At Gateway Motors, their lots have cars, trucks, and SUVs ready for you to check out and test drive. Having a lot of vehicles on their lot means it will be easier for them to find you the right one. Don't forget, whether new or pre-owned, vehicles with less than 100,000 miles come with warranty forever. Proud to support the Sandhills Open Road Challenge action. Gateway Motors in Broken Bow.
You're listening to KBBN 95.3 FM, also KCNI. We will be leaving the broadcast of the SORC races from KCNI's broadcast signal shortly and end the breakfast show there. But we invite you to stay tuned for more, all coming up right after these messages.
Trotter Service is your hometown auto repair and tire shop. Proud to support the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Whether it's a new battery, brakes, alignment, or any other repair, they have the auto repair specialist to get it done right for all your vehicles. Remember, they offer bulk oil and fuel delivery and on-the-farm tire service, too. Enjoy the SORC racing action. Brought to your radio in part by Trotter Service in Broken Bow.
And with more from the shootout, here's Jeremy and Brent.
All right, thank you very much, Dave. Yes, we are at the shootout location, getting ready for run number 2. I'm kind of recapping what we saw there in the half mile, which will be what we see first. I'm trying to find the fastest time. Well, it was obviously
Steve Tasca, I believe.
Yes, it was that Nissan GTR went 209.4 miles an hour. Now we'll see. You always kind of maybe get an idea on run number 2 what his goal is. Is it going to be hammer it down, go as fast as possible, and go for that fastest speed? Or is he going to try to match that 209? So we'll kind of wait and see what happens there. Fastest speed in the mile,
I want to say 199.1.
I believe you're correct. It was 199.3 by car 969. So a couple of really good good speeds there in the half mile and the mile. But again, it's all about consistency, and what we've discovered over the years is you pretty much have to be perfect. Being off by even 1/10 of a mile an hour in most years has not been good enough. You've got to get it exactly. So that's what these cars are going to have as their goal when they come back. I want to tell you a little bit more about the shootout races and kind of let you know about some things. First-time Sork entrants are limited to the half-mile division. So all of the rookie drivers you will see compete in the half-mile division. Drivers in the 1 mile need to have a car that meets the safety equipment level for classes with a 145 mile an hour tech speed. Now the street classes mean that the car does not have any boost, naturally aspirated. Super street means that they have boost on the car. First place is awarded to the 1 mile and half mile super street and street classes, and unlimited class cars don't need to meet requirements that the super street and street cars do. They can be trailered to and from the event. Good example would be that NASCAR. It obviously doesn't have any headlights or tail lights or any modern driving equipment, so it would be trailered to and from the event, and the driver with the fastest single pass in the 1.5 mile is awarded as well. First, second, and third matching speed awards are given, and 2 passes are needed for record. In the event of a tie, the fastest time again is the winner. So as the parade of cars continues, and you folks that are watching the video stream on the YouTube and Facebook pages of Sandhills Express continue to check that out, we'll go ahead and take this opportunity to have some more of our sponsors have their ads played on the radio and the video stream. So we'll send it back to the studio for another 3-minute timeout. Back after this.
They're all the above at the Sandhills Corral in Thetford. They're excited to announce a new menu that includes delicious tender steaks that will make your taste buds happier than ever before. Drink specials are always changing too, and make sure you stop by during their new hours, Monday to Thursday, 11 to 10, and Fridays and Saturdays from 11 until 1 a.m. If you haven't stopped in a while, you owe it to yourself to do so. Bring that Sork road racing car to the Sandhills Corral in Thetford.
Anderson Auto Tech is ready to serve you Monday to Friday, 8 to 6, West Highway 2, Broken Bow, just off the curve. Dave and his crew pride themselves on doing the work you need done right while being honest and showing care for your vehicle. For personalized small-town service you won't find anywhere else, head to Anderson Auto Tech. With technology and custom fabricating at their fingertips, they can handle what other shops can't. Anderson Auto Tech in Broken Bow.
The Smoke Shack in Broken Bow invites you to attend Smoke and Spirits, a whiskey and cigar event at Kincaidor Brewing Company in Broken Bow. Friday night, August 18th at 6 p.m., join Master Whiskey Taster Kip Gibbons as he walks you through Sideshow Spirits products and processes. A ticket of $35 gets you 2 cigars from the Smoke Shack, a tasting glass to take home, and a flight of 5 Sideshow Spirit products and a swag bag. Get your tickets on evenbright.com. Friday night, the 18th, at Kincaidor Brewing in Broken Bow. Smoke and Spirits with the Smoke Shack and Sideshow Spirits.
Racers know that performance cars take a lot of TLC. To run efficiently, they need clean oil maintained by a quality filter. That's why so many drivers trust Napa Gold filters. You may not drive a Corvette at speeds averaging 120 miles an hour, but your family truckster still needs the same care to get your kids to school. Lucky for you, WinQuest is having their fall filter sale September 5th through the 16th. Whether you drive a Mustang or a minivan, we've got you covered. Here's to a safe and successful Sork from WinQuest Incorporated, Broken Bow.
When your car needs fixed, getting it running right is all you should have to worry about. The last thing you need is wondering if the shop you're taking it to is honest and trustworthy. You won't worry about that at all with A1 Auto Repair in Arnold. They offer a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on non-wear items to give you peace of mind. Ask for a complimentary digital inspection to save headaches down the road. They invite you to the action and fun of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Proud to sponsor coverage, A1 Auto Repair in Arnold.
Proud to support the exciting road racing action of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Mills Hardware in Arnold. They have 350 feet of strong, reliable, consistent Milwaukee tools that they want you to see. 3 aisles of Milwaukee tools that lead the industry in durability and performance. They are proud to be the area's premier Milwaukee connection at Mills Hardware in Arnold. Happy to support the Sandhills Open Road Challenge Race Week.
You're listening to KBBN 95.3 FM, Broken Bow, Nebraska. We continue our coverage from the Shootout south of Callaway. And with more, here's Brent and Jeremy.
All right, thank you very much, Dave. And appreciate the intro, because we had just gotten done moments before saying, do you know how many ads have played yet? I lost track, so appreciate that a lot. All of the cars are coming back to the starting line. Again, the mile cars will go back to the mile starting line. The half-mile cars will stay up ahead, as we will start with the half-mile first. Everyone is being asked to go back to their seats, and we will get started here very, very shortly. But some good speeds there in the first round, Brent, but this is what it all comes down to, is matching those speeds. The second and third runs is key.
Yeah, and we'll kind of see what the strategy of some of the competitors are. Of course, you have a prize that is given out for what they call the King of the Hill, and that's just about being the fastest person out here. And then there are divisions for matching speeds, as you mentioned, so it'll be kind of fun to see how the next 2 runs go for the competitors here today. An opportunity for us to remind you that if you would like to come out and see all of these cars, they will have their car parade and car show later this afternoon in Arnold, Nebraska. They'll parade downtown Arnold and then set up the cars around the downtown area in Arnold later this afternoon, so that you can come on out and take a look at the vehicles. Most of them put the hood up so you can see what's underneath the hood and have an opportunity to visit with some of the competitors. Always a fun thing to do, and that'll be happening later on this afternoon in the community of Arnold.
While we have a moment, want to thank our video broadcast sponsors. You'll see them scrolling on your screen throughout the broadcast. CarQuest, Broken Bow, A1 Auto Repair in Arnold, First State Insurance in Arnold, Mills Hardware, the Callaway District Hospital with the Arnold and Callaway Medical Clinics, Ferreter Auto Parts, Broken Bow Legends Neighborhood Grill, Govier Brothers Mortuary with the Arnold and Mullen Funeral Homes, Nebraska State Bank, Rod's Body and Paint, Cobblestone Hotel and Suites, Power Solutions, Lashley Land and Recreational Brokers, Trotter Service, Broken Bow, J.R. Meyer Insurance, Aero Aviation, the Callaway Market, and BD Broken Bow.
We were telling you about the car show in Arnold. In case you're interested in the time, in the program, the parade of cars is scheduled to start at 2:30 this afternoon in downtown Arnold. And then, as we mentioned, the car show will be from until around 3 o'clock to 4:30 in the afternoon, where you can swing on into Arnold and take a look at the cars that are competing in this year's Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
Again, another shout out to Lucas Bell for providing the drone footage for the stream this morning. Those shots are looking gorgeous as always, and we'll see some more of those as we work through more of the broadcast. He's charging up some batteries and giving that drone a little bit of a rest. Couple of comments here. Joe Shea dropping in the comment box saying, it's been a while since I've seen the Sandhills looking so lush. Looks gorgeous out there. I was wondering if Dave's professional mowing and knife sharpening service did the mowing of the shoulders and turn ends. You know what, Joe? I didn't have a chance to ask Dave if he did the mowing here along this site, but I'll have to catch up with him on that one. And Nate Bell also saying a great job and giving a shout out to Luke's Aerial Photography for the drone footage. It does seem like the grass, it's been more recently hayed, I believe. It's a little bit shorter than it has been in years past, but I agree with Joe. The Sandhills just look gorgeous this summer. Greener than ever. The cattle, by the way, on either side of us, they kind of, as they do year after year, they kind of came down to the road pretty close, kind of check things out, but you know, they saw the first few cars, and I don't know many steers that happen to be like motorheads, so they had seen enough. They moved on. Here comes the first car of run number 2 of the half mile. This is car number 46. This is that Audi SUV. And looks like might have had a problem with the speed equipment, unfortunately. They went 111.5, and I guarantee you they were going faster than 1/10 of a mile an hour. I'd bet my life on it. But that's what shows up. So we'll wait and hear maybe what the actual speed was, or they might have to.
By the way, number 46, that was Richard Dayton of California, making the long journey to central Nebraska to participate.
Here comes car number 37, that 66 Mustang. Goes 101.2 miles an hour. First run was 102 flat, so a little bit slower that time, but pretty close.
That was Jeremy Jones of Laramie, Wyoming, taking his second run here in the half-mile shootout.
Up next, we've got a 1969 Camaro, car 169. 133 miles an hour flat was the speed the first time out. So we'll see if we see a 133 come across again. 141.8.
Gus Brown of Colorado, a state that we have been mentioning a lot today. A lot of participants coming down from Colorado to join us.
Well, what a great state to have a car that you love to cruise in. Comes Samer Damer in that Camaro, car 173, trying to match a 128.4. Goes 127.4, so off by just a mile an hour.
Samer Damer, our last participant, out of Parkville, Missouri.
Car 866, Trenton Zesson of Malcolm, Nebraska.
Here comes that 1966 Nova, car 866. Beautiful looking Nova, looking to match a 132.8. 132.3, so 0.5 of a mile an hour off, which sounds crazy to say, but probably not going to be good enough, but we'll see.
That was Trenton Zesson of Malcolm, Nebraska. Jared Halverson is being listed as the navigator in our program.
Car 816 up next, beautiful maroon Corvette. Goes 143 miles an hour flat. That's 0.6 of a mile an hour slower than their first run.
That was Claire Kurz of Palmer, Nebraska, and I think that Claire was one of the winners from a year ago. Yeah, half-mile shootout matching speed winner, where they put together equal runs of 141.1 a year ago.
Here goes car 234, going 137.9. That's our closest to the first speed so far. They went 137.8 the first time out.
33, Cam Ewald of Blair, Nebraska. Cam's driving a 1973.
Car 433 coming out of Blair up next, trying to match a 138.6 from first run. 139.9.
Cam Ewald, as you heard, from Blair, Nebraska, fourth year attending the Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
Zach's driving a 2018 Dodge Challenger Hellcat.
Here comes a local, a Hellcat, running on E85, if I heard correctly. Goes 156.6. Went 157 flat the first time out, so just 0.4 off.
Car 93, Bill Meyer of Russellville, Missouri.
Jeremy mentioned it was a local participant, Zach and Heather Hagler of Arnold, Nebraska, in that Dodge that just posted that time.
Here comes that Chevy Caprice, number 93, all gray vehicle cruising across. Trying to match a 118.8, goes 118.5, pretty darn close.
And that was Bill Meyer of Russellville, Missouri, listed in the program as one of the rookie drivers making their first appearance and having their first experience here at the Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
Car 662, a Mustang convertible. Top has to be up for competition. Goes 142 flat, went 132.8 last time.
Second time at the Sandhills Open Road Challenge for Tom Kudna of Omaha, Nebraska, driving number 662.
Here comes the 2000 Chevy Camaro. Went 118.8 the first time out. I don't know, this might be pretty close. 115.8.
718 driven by Brett Korth of Lincoln, Nebraska.
Roger Tishner of Alma, Nebraska, driving a 2006 BMW.
Roger Tishner up next, car 421. Went 114.8 the first time out, did Roger. All black BMW. Goes 114.5. So again, 0.3 off. We've already seen one racer just 1/10 off. So that's going to be what needs to at least be matched.
Roger, by the way, out of Alma, Nebraska, listed in the program as another one of our rookie drivers making their first trip to the Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
Here comes that Honda hatchback, car 53, looking to go 94.4 miles an hour again. Goes 94.9, just a little bit faster.
Car number 53, Michael Metzger of Sutherland, Nebraska.
Ryan Persino of Neely, Nebraska, driving a 2014 Dodge Viper.
Here comes that Viper. Car 202 went 148.1 the first time. And goes 149.3 for round number 2.
Car 204, Jason Hornady of Grand Island, Nebraska. Jason's driving a 2022 Cadillac CT5 Blackwing.
Jason Hornady up next. That brand new Cadillac. A little bit of a backfire there going across. Goes 141.6. Went 143.1 the first time across.
Jason Hornady of Grand Island, Nebraska. A yearly tradition for Jason, and also lists Todd Vance as a navigator and part of the racing team. They like to take a break from the shooting industry and go to the Sandhills for this event.
Scott Minson for Overland Park, Kansas up next. Car 888 went 133.3. Likes triple numbers. We'll see if they can match it. Goes 134.2.
Scott Minton of Overland Park, Kansas, making that last run. 6th year at the Sandhills Open Road Challenge, 4th as a driver.
Here comes another local, Brent Culp of Arnold. Car 186. Went 126.7 the first time out. Boy, that's a beautiful sounding car. Goes 127.2 miles an hour.
Another local participant, Brent Culp. Been a gearhead entire life, and I know Brent really enjoys participating in the event. I know that Brent and Heidi house a lot of the drivers too and make them welcome into their home for this event. Great to see them participating.
Car 974 trying to match a 111.1. And they go 112.1, so just off by a mile an hour.
That was Brent Skiles of Holdridge, Nebraska, making that last run.
Car 717, Kelly Hasenauer of North Platte, Nebraska, driving a 2001 Ford Mustang.
An 01 Ford Mustang comes to us from North Platte. Car 717, trying to match a 136.4. Goes 135.6.
Well, I'm sure that you can maybe hear the announcement of the drivers at times through the PA system coming through our microphones, but in case you missed it, that was Matthew Hasenauer of North Platte, Nebraska, making that run.
Carly Bates up next in car 279. Went 129.1 the first time out. And goes 128.5 this time.
Car 605, Jack Schmidt of Willow Lake, South Dakota. Jack's driving a 2004 Cadillac CTSV.
Here comes our next Cadillac. This is Jack Schmidt, car 605. Trying to match a 127.6 from the last time out. And goes 126.1.
Jack from Willow Lake, South Dakota.
Car 265, Tom Starr of Lincoln, Nebraska. Tom's driving a 2018 Tesla Model 3.
Here comes the Tesla that went 137.4. Car 265, Tom Starr, the driver. This time goes 137.4. That's our first matching speeds.
There you go.
Car 943, Quentin Dolson of Chatham, Kent, Canada, and a 1982 Ford Mustang.
Here comes the Canadian Quentin Dolson, car 943, went 149 even. See what he does in his Mustang this time.
150.6.
150.6.
Quentin listed in the program as one of the rookie drivers making their first experience here at Sork. And as you heard, coming all the way from Canada, Chatham, Ontario, Canada to be exact.
Here comes our first Ferrari. 146.8 that time around. It's trying to match a 160.4.
That was Kirk Sharp of Valentine, Nebraska. Had a great year a year ago, did Kirk. He was your 80-mile-an-hour class winner in the Sandhills Open Road Challenge event a year ago.
Here comes Robert Sarger, car 64. Goes 143.8. Was trying to match a 145.7.
Another one of our first-year participants, according to our program, Robert out of Anna, Texas.
Ralph's driving a 2017 Dodge Charger.
Car number 28 went 48.5 miles an hour first time. I think it's going significantly faster this time. Goes 132.7.
That was Ralph Johnson of Waukene, Kansas.
Car 589, Alan Edmonston of Longmont, Colorado.
Alan Edmonston coming up next. Trying to match a 147.6, or excuse me, a 146.7. Does 146.5 within 0.2 of a mile an hour.
And another one of our rookie drivers, according to our program, that was Alan Edmonston, as you just heard, out of Longmont, Colorado. Again, a lot of participants coming to us from Colorado this year.
142.7. That was the one we missed the number on last time it went by, and it just did it again. It's got a elusive car. Did you remember did you happen to see that car
I
number?
looked for the number, and just quite frankly, Jeremy, didn't really see one posted on the side of the car.
That was that car.
So,
okay,
yeah.
That's why we had a hard time seeing it. Here comes car number 302. Trying to match a 129.1. Goes 128.9. So we do have earlier I said that Tom Starr was the first to have perfect matching speeds. Roger Tishner had matching speeds earlier at 114.8. So two individuals have had two runs with perfect numbers so far. Up next in the half mile comes car number 33, a beautiful looking Porsche. Goes 139 even to go with the 137.7 from the first round.
That was Adam Rogers of Durango, Colorado. Been coming to the Sandhills Open Road Challenge for over 10 years now.
Car number 83 is coming up next. Went 86.6 last time.
Driving a 1983 Chevy Camaro.
Wind was kind of at the face of the drivers earlier this morning. Now it's kind of at their passenger side, blowing across their car. We'll see how that plays effect into things. 86.1 is the speed put in by Keith to go with the 86.6.
Yeah, Keith Bisson coming to us from Iowa this year.
Car 50, Jim Stainer of Jonesboro, Arkansas, driving a 1996 Mazda Miata.
Jim Stainer up next. That Miata went 134.4 the first time. He's got it cooking up again. Goes 135.4, just off by a mile an hour.
Jim Stainer from Jonesboro, Arkansas, according to our program, making their first trip to the area for the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Says it's been on their bucket list for many years, and now they can finally cross it off the list.
There goes car 511, a beautiful blue Camaro, goes 145.3. That's in comparison to the 146.7. That's Alan Dolman in that Camaro.
Car 45, Greg Kruger of Cedar Rapids, Iowa, driving a 2004 Ford Mustang.
An 04 Ford Mustang coming up next, car 45. Goes 117.2, went 123.2 first time out.
And that was Greg Kruger from Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
Here comes that 2022 Lexus. Went 127.7 miles an hour the first time out. This time around, it goes 127 flat.
Car 111, Chris Edwards of Aurora, Colorado, driving a 2015 Ford Mustang.
Sure you folks heard that, but Chris Edwards up next. Went 128.8 first time. Ooh, off by just a couple of tenths, went 130 even.
And again, that was Chris Edwards out of Aurora, Colorado, another one of our first-time participants according to the program that we have. Good to have Chris here experiencing Sandhills Open Road Challenge action for the first time.
Up next comes car 585, driven by Jay Nightingale. Went 113.3 the first time out. And this time goes 118.4 miles an hour.
Another one of our Colorado participants, Jay Nightingale out of Sheridan, Colorado.
Car 911, Jason Walsh of
Here comes car 911. Another Viper entered in. Went 136.8 first time out. And that's the one that was listed as a Viper, but that's most definitely a Corvette. Funny looking Viper if it is a Viper. And no speed comes across.
There it is.
There it is, 137.4.
And that was Jason Walsh of Kearney, Nebraska.
137.4 on the previous time.
Car 113, trying to match a 132.7. And goes 132.4.
And that was Brock Anderson from Gothenburg, Nebraska. In the matching speed category in the half mile last year, got second place with matching speeds a year ago of 129.2 miles an hour.
Here comes the black Challenger wearing number 23 on the side. Went 121.1 the first time out. Les Steinoff goes 121 flat, so just off by 1/10 of a mile an hour.
Les Steinoff making the long journey from the state of California to be here in central Nebraska. Says they're back racing in Arnold for their 14th year.
Here comes car number 58 from Bennington, Nebraska. Went 120.2. And the Acura goes 113.4.
And that was Rodney Bilderback from Bennington, Nebraska, making our last run.
Car 59, 151, John Slack of Bennington, Nebraska.
John Slack, our second Bennington driver in a row, coming up next in that Subaru, trying to match a 106.8. And goes 107.3.
As Jeremy mentioned, John Slack out of Bennington, Nebraska, says he first heard of the sort from another fellow driver, and he knew he had to get involved. So here he is in 2023 once again.
Comes Lyral Holt in that Tesla, trying to match a 164.2. Goes 153.6.
Lyral Holt out of Overland Park, Kansas.
Car 19, Clint McKenzie of Crete, Nebraska, driving a 2007 Dodge Charger.
Here comes the next Dodge Charger in the shootout. Clint went 114.7 miles an hour the first time out. Beautiful green color. 116.1.
Clint out of Crete, Nebraska. Lists Jack McKenzie, I believe his father, as his driving mate. They've been around building cars since Clint was able to hand him wrenches in the shop. And now they race together here in the Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
Here comes the 308 car representing our area code. Goes 114.5. Now that is compared to a 113.9 first time out for the Tehans.
Yeah, Michael and Matt out of Halsey, Nebraska. Of course, they were a part of the loop-to-loop race yesterday. And now here for the half-mile shootout.
Barry Conkin interacted with us a little bit on Facebook yesterday, like the pictures we took at the loop-to-loop race. And Barry goes out and goes 138.3 to go with the 137.5 the first time out. Thanks for stopping by the Sandhills Express Facebook page, Barry. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we've been reading a lot of rookie drivers, first-year participants. Barry, not one of those. He's been here many, many years.
There goes car number 40, that Lamborghini Sound. Goes 152.4. That's just 0.2 off from the first run.
And that was Darren Brewer of Gretna, Nebraska.
Driving a 2007 Audi RS4.
Here comes our next Audi in competition. Went 116.6 the first time out, did car number 91. 121.2 this time out, a little bit faster. And we just go up one number. We go to Robert McCullough. Went 146.8 the first time out. And Robert goes 138.9, 0.2 off again. Things getting pretty tight down here at the bottom of the half mile.
Robert making the drive west from Lincoln, Nebraska.
Again, on this page that I'm keeping track of alone, we've had 3 cars go within 0.2 of a mile an hour from the first run, and 1 car went 0.1. Earlier on in the half mile, we had 2 cars that had exact matching speeds. So everyone kind of vying for that third place right here at this time.
Chevy Corvette.
144.2 comes in. That is in comparison to a 146.8.
Car 11, Eric Schmidt of Lincoln, Nebraska, driving a 1989 Chevy Corvette.
Well, there goes Eric Schmidt. 161.2, just 0.2 off of the 161.4 from the first round. Well, here we go, Brent. Is it going to be 209.4 again, or is it going to be faster? What's Steve going to do?
Driving a 2009 Nissan.
Oh, still fast. If a 200 came across, I mean, I don't know what 180 versus 200 miles an hour looks like, but it's exactly that. Goes 187.7 that time around compared to the 209.4 the first time out for Steve Tasca. So that was the final half-mile shootout car here in round number 2. So they will move back to the starting line for the mile shootout, and we will go ahead and send it back to the studio for a 60-second break, and we'll come back with the mile shootout round number 2 here at 2023 Cozad-Callaway Road action on KCNI or on KBBN Radio, as well as the Sandhills Express YouTube and Facebook pages. Back in 60.
When you go to the auto parts store, you want to talk to people who know cars. For Lewis and the crew at CarQuest in Broken Bow, it's not just a job, it's their lifestyle. Did you know they offer fleet and farm accounts that give you significant savings on heavy-duty filters? Swing by and ask about it soon. They continue to offer services like making hydraulic hoses, parts washing, and turning rotors. Open Monday to Friday, 7:30 to 6, and Saturday, 7:30 to 3. CarQuest on West Highway 2 in Broken Bow.
Lashley Land Recreational Brokers is proud to be servicing the Custer County area, and currently land is moving at a high rate of speed. So if you are considering selling your land, now is the time, or get an opinion of what your land might be worth. Call me, John Farley, at 308-530-7854, or check me out at lashleyland.com.
You're listening to KBBN 95.3 FM. Let's go back to the shootout with Brent and Jeremy.
All right, thank you very much, Dave. Yes, we are at the shootout site getting ready for round number 2 of the mile shootout. And we look back here at the results of round number 1. If I can get my paper out of the clipboard here. Fastest speed was car 969, went 199.3. So certainly if they can match that 199.3, would be probably one of the favorites for winning the mile shootout because it comes down to speed if you don't match.
969, right?
Correct.
You said had the fast. That would be Dan Rohrbach of Aberdeen, South Dakota, who had the fastest run in the opening leg of this mile shootout.
And that's always good to remember too. They just made a announcement here that said because of the equipment they use to display on the board and the score that they actually take down with the official equipment, there's a little bit of deviation there. So what we report on, and we always joke about this, right? What we report is always unofficial.
There you go. We always stress that, don't we?
It's unofficial. So while we're now, it's going to be very darn close. So if it matches on the scoreboard and we say it matches, obviously might not be the situation, but it will match up on the board. Maybe not just the actual speeds that they're taking down that they score on. We'll learn who all the winners are at the barbecue later on this week on Saturday evening. So it looks like all the vehicles have moved down to the 1 mile starting line. We've got cameras moved and maxed out on Zoom to try to get all the way down there to get you some of the action early on in the run. And we're going to be starting with car number 10.
Give us an opportunity to thank the other members of our crew. I'm Brent Apperson, Jeremy Scheib. We're the ones behind the mic, but the guys behind the cameras, we say thanks to Grant Winter, who is helping us out here today, kind of manning the video aspect of our broadcast today. Christy Wells, Shannon Murray are the ones that are operating one of our cameras today, so we appreciate their help, and it's good to have the whole crew working together today.
Yeah, right now it looks like they're having a picnic, waiting for that car to come down.
And Dave Burney, by the way, back at the studio engineering our radio broadcast. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you to Clay for coming out and setting up the scaffolding. He was here bright and early, had his work light out before the sun came up, and we made that adjustment this year as well. We came out and started setting up about the time the sun came up. We added maybe about, 15 or 20 minutes of setup time. I don't know about you two, but it was a much more comfortable setup type situation this year with that 20 minutes extra. So the headlamp situation might be something that sticks going into next year.
There you go. By the way, I know Jeremy mentioned this earlier, but if some of you are just tuning in, again, we do have the live video stream going on sandhillsexpress.com, also on the Sandhills Express YouTube channel and Sandhills Express Facebook page. And a big thank you to Lucas Bell helping us with some of the shots that we're getting on the live video stream today. He's running his drone, and so those overhead shots that you see during the course of the video stream today, courtesy of him, and we thank him for giving up a part of his day to make that happen for you.
Here comes car number 10. Jeff Preston went 161.6 the first time down. And in that gunmetal gray Mustang, this time goes 160.7.
Jeff, another one of our area participants, the local boy, Jeff Preston of Arnold, Nebraska, making that run. Jeff will be in the Sandhills Open Road Challenge tomorrow, where he finished second place in the 105 mile an hour division a year ago.
Well, these drivers in the 1 mile shootout might be facing stronger winds than even the racers in the half mile we're facing. It's kind of kicked up a little bit from our back, hasn't it?
It has.
I did hear rumblings about maybe there was some cattle out here. They must have gotten that solved. Early on this morning, some cattle made their way into the spectator area over here.
Car 811.
You never know, they might be watching Netflix. We have internet capabilities here, so I don't know, maybe they're watching a show.
Yeah, this pole out here from Great Plains Communications, 364 days a year, is sitting out here, has gig internet running to it with obviously not the equipment hooked to it to make it possible to use the internet, but one day a year we hook up to it and we use the cattle scratching post to broadcast for you folks. Here comes car 811, trying to match a 170.1. 170.3, so already we've got a speed that's just 0.2 of a mile an hour off of the original speed.
And that's a long-time participant of Sandhills Open Road Challenge, Mark Kapner, putting that run together. Mark, of course, from Idaho, joining us once again this year.
Car 59 is up next, a beautiful black Corvette. This car went 158.9 miles an hour the first time out. It comes up over the hill. And across the finish line, 159.2.
And that was Kevin Hanshoe of Wichita, Kansas, participating in the event. He, like so many others, would like to take the opportunity to thank the board of directors and all of the volunteers that work so hard to make this event happen every year and make it so special.
Kind of a little out of order from the last time out. Car 999 not coming down. This is car 25, driven by Leroy Ulrich. Went 171.5 the first time. Goes 168.7 this time out, unofficially on the board being shown to spectators here.
Leroy from Pierre, South Dakota. In our program, Leroy lists himself as a member of the Lone Beer Light Race Team.
Here comes car 999, Jack Jones. 2013 Viper went 172 flat. Blue Viper puts in a second speed of 172.5. Pretty often, folks, these guys are working off of a speedometer which comes in the car. I don't know of many speedometers out there anymore that show tenths of a mile an hour. They used to have the little marks, remember? Like but they're just kind of trying to mostly go off of a speedometer like you and I would, just trying to drive our car down here. To get within a half mile an hour is pretty good.
And that was Jack Jones coming to us from the state of Iowa for the event this year.
Car 15 up next, that beautiful orange Corvette. Goes 164 flat. Now that is in comparison to a 163.3 from earlier on.
Car 67, Todd Bransky, driving a 2024 Shelby.
And the car number 15 that just went across the line, that was Kelly Bork of Sioux Center, Iowa. Another one of our first-year participants here at the Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
There goes car number 67, a loud Mustang across at 176.9. Now that is in comparison to a 177.7. So just a little bit more than a mile an hour off.
67, right?
Yes.
Okay, Todd Gransky of Utica, Nebraska. Had a great go in the 1 mile shootout a year ago. I mentioned it to you earlier, but if you're just tuning in, Todd was second place in the matching division category in the 1 mile shootout. Had matching runs a year ago of 173.8.
Here comes Jason Rader in car 462. Goes 158.7. It's in comparison to a 155.8. So Jason will try to match one of those two speeds in the third round later on today.
Jason from Lincoln, Nebraska.
Ford Shelby coming up next. Car 289 went 162.2 the first time out. Going to try to match that again here this morning. Blue car, black and white stripe down the middle. And car 289 coming across significantly slower than last time. Goes 104.3 miles an hour.
And car number 289 listed in the program as Aaron Anderson of Lincoln, Nebraska.
Car 529.
Says they always feel so fortunate to have the opportunity to participate in SORC. An IT manager in Lincoln is Aaron Anderson.
Chad Christensen up next, car 529. Went 182.7 the first time, moving again. 183.4.
Chad had a tremendous go at the Sandhills Open Road Challenge a year ago in the street division of the 1 mile shootout. He was your winner at 178.3 miles an hour average. And he was also your 110 mile an hour class champion in the Sandhills Open Road Challenge a year ago. So
wow,
Chad hoping for some of the same success here in 2023.
Wanted to bring home some of that hardware. Here's Wayne Hora from Stapleton right up the road. Wayne goes 166.2 in comparison to the 166.9. Again, want to thank our gold radio sponsors. They include CarQuest of Broken Bow, A1 Auto Repair in Arnold, Mills Hardware of Arnold, and Lashley Land and Recreational Brokers, bringing you radio coverage this morning and each morning as we're here at 2023 SORC events. Here comes car number 8. Ooh, getting close to the edge of the road there a little bit. Goes 184 flat to go with the 183.5 from before.
And car number 8 was driven by John Schmidt of Lincoln, Nebraska.
RT Green, car 444 from Arnold, Nebraska, driving a 2019 Dodge Challenger.
RT Green from Arnold up next in that 444 car. RT on the SORC board. 444 Racing and RT Green, also corporate sponsors of SORC. This guy loves this event. It brought him here to Nebraska. 154 flat just a half mile an hour off of his previous speed of 154.5. Car 112 scheduled to be next, and sounds like it is in fact the next car.
And car number 112 will be driven by Jared Helge, I hope I say that right, out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. Jared participated in the first SORC back in 2001, has missed a couple of the events, but he is a common participant.
171.7. Half a mile an hour off from the 171.2 the first time out. Starting to feel that sun on my neck, boys. Are you?
Car 650, Jared Roberts from Gretna, Nebraska.
Car 60, is that what they said?
I'm not sure, Jeremy.
I do not have a 60 in the mile an hour in the 1 mile from last time at all. 650. 154.3.
And that was Jared Roberts of Gretna, Nebraska. Third generation Nebraskan, making his 11th appearance here at the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Says it's always one of his highlights of the year. Nice to have Jared back for another year of SORC racing.
And Jared went 151.3 the first time out to go with that 154.3. The car we skipped was the car that went the fastest here in the mile. It was the 199 mile an hour car 969. We'll hope to see it later on as car 56 goes 185.1. Wow, significantly faster than 148 the first time out.
Car 56, that is Perry White of Brainerd, Minnesota. Now, Perry was your 1 mile king of the hill last year at 186.1 miles per hour.
Next up, car 392, next challenger in the competition, goes 150.5. Now, unofficially, that's pretty darn good because they went 150.3 the first time out, just 0.2 off for car number 392.
And that was Scott Fry, another one of our Colorado participants. Scott coming to us from Loveland, Colorado. Says he got officially hooked on the culture and racing at SORC back in 2016 when he was a navigator. And now back here racing in 2023.
There goes car 969 in at a 201.8 to go with the 199.3 from the first round.
969 would be Dan Rohrbach of Aberdeen, South Dakota. The second run that we have seen today from somebody that eclipsed at 200 miles an hour. We had Steve Tasca going at 209 plus in the half mile earlier today, and now Dan Rohrbach of Aberdeen, South Dakota hits 201 plus here in the mile shootout.
Car 77, a yellow Corvette coming across next, putting in a speed of 164.4, 0.3 slower than the 164.7 ran unofficially in round number 1. Good look there for the yellow Corvette.
Back to number 77 that just finished. If you're interested, Dan Axmit of Broomfield, Colorado was the one in car number 77.
Another yellow Corvette. The Yellow Corvette Club coming in. Car 221 went 161.2. Now goes 159.5. Good run there, back to back by a couple of yellow Corvettes.
Car number 221, another Colorado participant. That was Jay Hill of Thornton, Colorado.
Up next is one of my favorite cars when it comes to looks and power as well, a 1966 Corvair. Car number 690 went 161.7 the first time. And 161.5 unofficially on the board shown. That's just a 0.2 difference between first and second runs.
And that was Bob Brownell of Laramie, Wyoming.
Kevin Miller of Littleton, Colorado. He's driving a 2024 Shelby GT.
Car 315 up next, another Shelby GT. Got moving first time out, went 172.9. Pretty darn fast.
Another one of our Colorado participants, Kevin Miller out of Littleton, Colorado.
172.8.
And that's just a 10th off unofficially from round number 1.
Car 606, Joe Hackney of Sabetha, Kansas.
Joe Hackney
Driving
up
a
next,
2000 Chevy
coming to
Silverado.
us from Kansas. This is a truck, a Silverado. Went 145.5 the first time out.
In the program showing Tyler Hackney as the navigator. For Joe, it's his second run here at Sword.
137 even.
137 flat for Joe. 16 cars left in the mile.
Jim Miller of North Platte, Nebraska. He's driving a 2005 Viper.
Jim Miller coming up next out of North Platte. Jim was at 156.9 in round number 1. We'll see what he can do in this red Viper this time. 160 flat. Again, I do believe the closest times unofficially shown, or the closest speeds rather, were just a couple cars ago by Kevin Miller. 1/10 off. Again, those speeds being shown on your screen and being reported to you on the radio by us are unofficial speeds. The official speeds might be a little bit different, but it's a good beginning to kind of figure out just how close these speeds are. Here comes car number 88, the Mercury Grand Marquis. Goes 112.9 to go with the first speed of 113.3.
And number 88 was Daniel Metzger of North Platte, Nebraska. Third year competing, second year driving here at the Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
Toyota MR2.
This next car is an MR2 Toyota. It's wearing number 411. First time out went 123.8 miles an hour. We'll see what the MR2 can muster this time around. .123.1, so pretty darn good, just off by 0.7.
Another one of our North Platte participants, number 411, Ethan Butke of North Platte, Nebraska. Butke name very familiar in that North Platte area. Ethan being shown as a rookie participant. Says rookie driver, but in the bio says second year at Sork. Have enjoyed the event as a spectator regularly. Now nice to have Ethan participating in the event.
Car 313 next. James Luby, 157.2 is what he's trying to match, and runs a 158.1.
James Luby from Beaver Crossing, Nebraska. Third year of competing in the Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
Car 981, Andrew Rampt of Garden Ridge, Texas.
Andrew Rampt going to get this Porsche soft top going. Trying to match a 162 up next. And here comes that beautiful Porsche. 161.3, just 0.7 off of the last time out.
Andrew from Garden Ridge, Texas, competing in the Sand Hills Open Road Challenge. Mentioned it to you earlier, but I think worth repeating. Been quite an experience through life for AJ, as that is what he goes by. Was a fighter pilot in the Air Force, flew the T-38 as an instructor, and flew the F-15A and C in New Mexico and Okinawa, Japan.
Car 311, an all-black soft-top Corvette, goes 166.4 miles an hour to go with the 162.2 from before.
That was James Lockhart of Lincoln, Nebraska, a Sork sophomore now. Says in the program that he had his first experience a year ago, loved every single part of it, and back again this year.
Jeremy Gosson up next. The Corvette, car 343, went 171.5 the first time. Let's see if he can match it. 173.5, very close.
343, Jeremy Gosson of Papillion, Nebraska. Part of Gosson Brothers Racing, delighted to participate in this year's Sand Hills Open Road Challenge.
He's driving a 2003 Chevy Corvette.
Next car is car 203, went 161.2 miles an hour the first time out. 2003 Corvette wearing 203 goes 161.5.
John Loken of Omaha, Nebraska. And Jeremy, you're wondering who was the guy that mentioned you in the program? Well, that was him. That was John saying hello to Jeremy Scheib.
Hi, John.
Program.
I'm just going to say hi to John every time he drives down. I hope he's listening in his radio, or I'm just saying hi to a bunch of people who aren't John. Car 426 up next. 168.6 miles an hour to go with the 170.9 from before.
That was Doug Jones of Ipswich, South Dakota.
Car 187, Dustin Sabatka of Valparaiso, Nebraska.
Dustin Sabatka in car 187 up next, went 158.3 the first time out. See what Dustin can put together here. The cattle are coming back over there on the far side. They want to come back for the action again. And the Camaro goes 155.5 miles an hour. Car 696 is up next.
Car 696, Bob Bixler Jr. of Lincoln, Nebraska.
Bob Bixler.
Driving a 1994 Ford Mustang.
That's a good race name. Lots of good race names out here, but Bob Bixler, the double B, going to try to match that 132.7.
Bob, coming from the capital city, Lincoln, Nebraska, says this is a great place to test his building, mechanical, and driving skills.
There goes that yellow Mustang. And Bob goes 132 flat to go with that 132.7. Again, beautiful day here in central Nebraska. Good crowd on hand. Concession stand, t-shirts for sale. Most people just kind of tailgate it, bring their own cooler and chairs. A few people using the stands on hand here. Again, if you folks are watching and can drive in, there's going to be lunch in Callaway. Lots of events going on in Arnold later on this afternoon. As car 133 comes next. A 157.1 for 133. To go with the 148.6 from the first round.
Car 133 that just passed us, Joe Wolf of Pierre, South Dakota.
Nebraska. He's driving a 1995 BMW 318 T1.
4 cars left here in the 1 mile round number 2. This is Michael Rasmussen up next in car 333. It's that 1995 BMW. Lets it know you're there for sure. That's a 133.8, unofficially matching speeds.
Michael from Plattsmouth, Nebraska, putting together two very good runs here in this 1 mile shootout.
He's driving a 1965 Chevy Corvette.
Here comes that 1965 Corvette. Went 158.3 the first time out. Again, last car out was Michael Rasmussen. Unofficially, the score showing here that he matched his speeds. Go the Ekbergs. 159.1 for the 65 Corvette.
Ekbergs, of course, out of Wakefield, Nebraska. I think you can call them Sork lifers. Always fun to see them here as part of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
Driving a 2002 GMC Sonoma.
Matt Voss up next. Another pickup entry. This is that GMC Sonoma. Went 137.9 miles an hour the first time out. Again, this is number 720. A little bit of backfire, a little bit of smoke coming out, but gets across that 160.3. Picked it up significantly over that 137.9. And these are race cars, folks. They're always kind of making adjustments to these cars to try to get more speed or consistent speed out of them. Matt maybe made a little bit of an adjustment to get more of that speed out this time. Here comes that NASCAR. Car number 32 coming up next. This is our final entry of the mile shootout.
Bill Schneider, final participant in the 1 mile shootout. Again, we're on the second run of the shootout.
193.3, picking it up significantly over that first round speed.
Bill from Malcolm, Nebraska, making our final run in what is round 2 of 3 here in the 1 mile shootout.
Yeah, and you remember we said back in the rules segment, they need 2 in order to give everybody a score. So at the very least, everybody is going to be able to be scored, and we are going to be able to determine some winners and some hardware winners for the half mile and the 1 mile. So that's the end of the mile, and they're going to have everybody come down to the fence again and check everything out. And as they do so and get ready to do so, we'll go ahead and thank some of our sponsors that you'll hear from here in a moment. Silver sponsors include Trumbull Repair and Towing, Callaway District Hospital with Arnold and Callaway Medical Clinics, Reed's Food Center, Gateway Motors, Trotter Service Broken Bow, the Sandhills Corral, Anderson Auto Tech, the Smoke Shack, and Wenquist Incorporated. Thank you as well to Pinnacle Bank of Arnold, First State Insurance of Arnold, RTA's Hardware Broken Bow, Bierman Vet Services, BD Broken Bow, Mount Custer Truck Sales, and State Farm Insurance Agent Donna Cahill. While we're taking this break and waiting for the cars to come back over the hill and back to the half mile shootout starting line, I want to remind you, if you're listening on the radio broadcast, you can tune into the video broadcast on the Sandhills Express YouTube and Facebook pages. And also for those of you that are maybe listening in your cars as you participate in the event, a full replay is posted on both of those sites for you to check out at any time. Past years are up there as well. Those of you that are watching, if you want to cheer someone on in the comments, encourage you to do so. The comment section is open on Facebook and YouTube, and we'll try to glance down and check those out and read those for you here on the air. With that, we'll go ahead and send it back to the studio for a 3-minute timeout.
When you need towing or transport, it often comes at a time that you didn't see coming. That's why Trumbull Repair and Towing Service offers it 24/7. So when you're stranded and need emergency roadside assistance, call Dan at 870-2127. Trumbull Repair offers mechanical service, welding, and mobile welding. Trumbull Repair and Towing Service, a half-mile east of Callaway on Highway 40, but serving the entire area. Call 870-2127.
The Callaway District Hospital, along with the Arnold and Callaway Medical Clinics, love supporting the community, and they're very excited for the SORC organizers as they get ready for the Open Road Challenge. The Callaway District Hospital and Medical Clinics want to remind you of their public transportation service. Call 308-212-0464 to schedule a ride today. Areas served and destinations requested will be evaluated on a first-come, first-served basis. Enjoy the excitement of SORC from the Callaway District Hospital and the Arnold and Callaway Medical Clinics.
At Reed's Food Center in Arnold, they're proud to have served the Arnold community for over 40 years. They remain committed to providing outstanding customer service to everyone who comes through their doors. They're proud to keep local dollars in Arnold, offer the best selections at low prices, and embody small-town friendliness in everything they do.
I don't think
I
didn't even think about not being back for noon. I don't know if I put sports in for
Reed's
noon.
Food Center in Arnold. Like their Facebook page or visit reedsfoodcenter.com.
You can just insert sports from 6 and
when you're
7
searching
this
for
morning.
A vehicle you can
just
depend
take
on. It
out
helps to shop where you have a large variety to choose from.
And
At
then
Gateway
the other
Motors, their lots
two
have
can
cars,
run.
trucks, and SUVs ready
Sorry
for you
about
to check
that.
out and test drive.
Maybe
Having
I
a lot
put
of
it in
vehicles
for
on their
noon,
lot
but
means
I
it will
don't-
be
I
easier
don't
for
think
them
I
to
thought
find
that
you the
far
right
ahead
one.
and did.
Don't forget
So,
whether
but
new
that'll-
or
that'll
pre-owned
take care of
vehicles
it.
with less than
If you just
100,000
put in
miles
what
come with
aired
warranty
this morning,
forever.
just take out
Proud
the
to support
SORC
the
story.
Sandhills Open Road Challenge
Thank you
action.
very much.
Gateway Motors in Broken Bow.
Trotter Service is your hometown auto repair and tire shop. Proud to support the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Whether it's a new battery, brakes, alignment, or any other repair, they have the auto repair specialist to get it done right for all your vehicles. Remember, they offer bulk oil and fuel delivery and on-the-farm tire service, too. Enjoy the SORC racing action. Brought to your radio in part by Trotter Service in Broken Bow.
Excited, thrilled, exhilarated, delighted. They're all the above at the Sandhills Corral in Thetford. They're excited to announce a new menu that includes delicious tender steaks that will make your taste buds happier than ever before. Drink specials are always changing too. And make sure you stop by during their new hours, Monday to Thursday, 11 to 10, and Fridays and Saturdays from 11 until 1 a.m. If you haven't stopped in a while, you owe it to yourself to do so. Bring that SORC road racing car to the Sandhills Corral in Thetford.
It's 10:45. You're listening to 95.3 FM, KBBN, Broken Bow, Nebraska, the voice of SORC. Let's go back to the shootout with Jeremy and Brent.
All right, thank you very much, Dave. I just got my finger. I managed to get my finger stuck in my headset. That was a close one. But we are back, and we're watching the cars go across and go back to the half-mile shootout starting line. Good crowd on hand here at the Cozad-Callaway Road. Few people even brought trailers with a designated sitting area with a railing and everything on top. They've got probably one of the better seats in the house. We hope you folks are enjoying your seat on the video stream and on the radio broadcast as well. Well, Brent, we've seen some pretty accurate times. Again, unofficial coming in off of that board, but everyone's kind of getting things dialed in despite all of the different factors that are changing from each run.
Yeah, and we've seen some great speeds too. Have seen someone go over 200 miles an hour in each of the events, the half mile and the 1 mile. So some good fast speeds turned in, and all in all, it's been a great show so far.
I'm going to see if I can read my handwriting well enough, and I've tried to make some marks to kind of toss out some close speeds. In the half mile, Roger Tishner in car 421 had matching speeds at 114.8 unofficially. Tom Starr in car 265 had matching speeds at 137.4. And those were the two that I had that were matching in the half mile. As far as fastest speed that we've seen so far in the half mile, that is 209.4 put in by Steve Tasca in that GTR from round number 1. He followed that up with, 187. 187 miles an hour. Come on, that's fast to begin with, but 209.4 to compare it to. As far as the 1 mile goes, we only had unofficially one person match their runs together. That would be Michael Rasmussen in car 333 in that BMW. Went 133.8 miles an hour both times out. As far as being 1/10 of a mile an hour off, Kevin Miller went 172.9 and then 172.8. And then there were a few different drivers that went within 0.2 of a mile an hour. But certainly some work to do, specifically in the 1 mile shootout side of things, for everybody to try to match those speeds. Or as we've seen, Brent, they like to mash down every now and then too.
Yep. That'll be fun to see what everybody does on their third time.
So the cars are continuing to parade across, and they'll get reset and turned around. And as we continue to wait for them to do so, and plenty of waves and cheers are given right here on the road, we'll send it back to the studio for another 3-minute timeout.
Anderson Auto Tech is ready to serve you Monday to Friday, 8 to 6, West Highway 2, Broken Bow, just off the curve. Dave and his crew pride themselves on doing the work you need done right while being honest and showing care for your vehicle. For personalized small-town service you won't find anywhere else, head to Anderson Auto Tech. With technology and custom fabricating at their fingertips, they can handle what other shops can't. Anderson Auto Tech in Broken Bow.
The Smoke Shack in Broken Bow invites you to attend Smoke and Spirits, a whiskey and cigar event at Kincaidor Brewing Company in Broken Bow. Friday night, August 18th at 6 p.m., join master whiskey taster Kip Gibbons as he walks you through Sideshow Spirits products and processes. A ticket of $35 gets you 2 cigars from the Smoke Shack, a tasting glass to take home, and a flight of 5 Sideshow Spirit products and a swag bag. Get your tickets on evenbright.com. Friday night, the 18th, at Kincaidor Brewing in Broken Bow. Smoke and Spirits with the Smoke Shack and Sideshow Spirits.
Racers know that performance cars take a lot of TLC. To run efficiently, they need clean oil maintained by a quality filter. That's why so many drivers trust Napa Gold filters. You may not drive a Corvette at speeds averaging 120 miles an hour, but your family truckster still needs the same care to get your kids to school. Lucky for you, Winquest is having their fall filter sale September 5th through the 16th. Whether you drive a Mustang or a minivan, we've got you covered. Here's to a safe and successful Sork from Winquest Incorporated, Broken Bow.
When your car needs fixed, getting it running right is all you should have to worry about. The last thing you need is wondering if the shop you're taking it to is honest and trustworthy. You won't worry about that at all with A1 Auto Repair in Arnold. They offer a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on non-wear items to give you peace of mind. Ask for a complimentary digital inspection to save headaches down the road. They invite you to the action and fun of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Proud to sponsor coverage, A1 Auto Repair in Arnold.
Proud to support the exciting road racing action of the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Mills Hardware in Arnold. They have 350 feet of strong, reliable, consistent Milwaukee tools that they want you to see. 3 aisles of Milwaukee tools that lead the industry in durability and performance. They are proud to be the area's premier Milwaukee connection at Mills Hardware in Arnold. Happy to support the Sandhills Open Road Challenge Race Week.
Lashley Land Recreational Brokers is proud to be servicing the Custer County area, and currently land is moving at a high rate of speed. So if you are considering selling your land, now is the time, or get an opinion of what your land might be worth. Call me, John Farley, at 308-530-7854, or check me out at lashleyland.com.
You're listening to KBBN 95.3 FM. We're warming up out there. A breeze picking up just a little bit, but it seems like everything is running real smooth at the shootout. Let's find out more from Brent and Jeremy.
All right, thank you very much, Dave. Yeah, warming up is right. I'm not sure exactly what the temperature is, but it has warmed up significantly. It's kind of that time of year. You've got enough dew on the ground and enough moisture in the air that it's kind of chilly until the sun comes up, and first part of the morning is beautiful, and then it kind of starts to get nice and warm and hot as you creep towards 90 degrees. But all in all, Brent, no complaints here on the weather for the first 2 days of racing action.
No, absolutely not, and we all know that weather is a big part of it, and so far Mother Nature has really cooperated through the first 2 big days of the event.
And the racing has cooperated as well. No major incidents or problems, and we'll certainly keep our fingers crossed that things continue to go smoothly, because, you know, medals, awards, all of that, and having a good time are all important and fun. But ultimately, we want everyone to be able to compete safely and complete competing safely. As car 46 comes down, that Audi SUV goes 110.4. Now, if you remember back to run number 2, we had a little bit of problem with the display on the speed, so we only have one other speed to go off of, and that was a 111.5. Here comes that 66 Mustang. Went 102 flat and then 101.2. And now goes 102.1. Fastest speed of the day for the 66 Mustang. Brent, if you had to, are you more of a Mustang, a Camaro, or a Corvette guy? Kind of the main 3 muscle cars as far as...
I would take either one.
You take any, take any of them? Here goes the 69 Camaro. Goes 144.1. Fastest comparison speed was 141.8. We'll make it 2 Camaros here in a row. 173 expected on the track.
From Parkville, Missouri, and a 2018 Chevy Camaro.
Samer Damer. White Camaro. Goes 128.5, just off by 1/10 of a mile an hour compared to that first run.
Of course, the speeds that we're reading off for you are on the display that's available here at the event. These aren't official times, but it certainly gives you a good idea of what people are being able to do today.
Car 866.
There goes that 66 Nova. Goes 131.3. Coming out of Malcolm, Nebraska. Home of the Clippers?
I think so.
Okay.
I think you got it right.
And I'm... My wife hates going on road trips with me because every time we drive into a town, I say, home of the whoever, and I say it. 816 comes across 143.2. That shoots right in between the 2 previous speeds of 143.6 and 143. But again, we're going for 2 close matching speeds. Average isn't necessarily the goal, but it does show you that you're getting your 3 speeds very close together. Car 234 up next. Was within 1/10 of a mile an hour the first 2 times. And goes 138.2 this time out. Faster than those 2 previous times.
Car 433 is next. Tammy Wolf from Blair, Nebraska.
Coming out of Blair comes car number 433 up next. This is that Cuda. This is Dave's favorite car, I think. He loves that Cuda. 139.3 miles an hour. Second fastest time for the Cuda. Car 69 up next, trying to match either a 157 or a 156.6.
2018 Dodge Challenger Hellcat.
This is that Hellcat Challenger. Cool looking paint job on it. 156.5. You might have been able to hear him try to shut it down a little bit. That's because he was trying to get down to either 156.6 or up to 157. Went a little bit low, just a 1/10 of a mile an hour off. Here comes that more modern Chevy Caprice up next. Kind of looks like an Impala, but Caprice, gray Caprice goes 117.6. Went 118 and change the first 2 times out.
Always enjoyable to bring you the live play-by-play racing coverage of this event, but another thing we like to do is visit with some of the drivers. David J. Burney's been doing that, and we'll be airing a lot of those interviews for you tomorrow during our Sandhills Open Road Challenge coverage.
That was car 718 flat, goes 119 flat compared to a 118.8, so 2/10 off for car 718. We skipped car 662, and we did see a few cars. Oh, there it is right there, car 662 over here to our right, hopefully doing okay. Roger Tishner up next, had 2 perfect speeds before. Can he make it 3? 114 flat. So 2 runs of 114.8 and then a 114 flat. So not only are his matching speeds going to be what gets him into medal contention, but if there's a tie break, that 114.8 I believe is also that speed as well. Here comes the Honda Civic hatchback. Who doesn't have some kind of memory in a Honda Civic hatchback? 93.7 miles an hour for the hatchback.
Talked about visiting with the drivers. You'll have the opportunity to do that later today, as they'll have the parade of cars in Arnold at around 2:30 today, and then the car show, where you can visit with some of the drivers and take a first-hand look at the vehicles that are competing.
Car 202, Ryan Firstenow goes 148.4, pretty close to that first run of 148.1.
Car 204, Jason Hornady.
Jason Hornady coming up next with that Cadillac. These Cadillacs pack a lot of power. Goes 142.1. Doesn't match either of the previous speeds, but gets pretty close to the 141.6 from before. Car 888 is up next. Scott trying to match either a 133.3 or a 134.2. This car out of Kansas. Goes the gray Corvette.
133.5.
133.5. Pretty darn close, just 200ths off. Again, not every driver in the loop-to-loop is in the Sork. Not every Sork driver is in the loop-to-loop. And not necessarily, you can kind of do any of the events, really. We've seen people do loop-to-loop and shootout, or shootout and Sork. There goes that Magnum wagon. There's a matching score for you. For the locals, believe they're from Arnold, 126.7 the first run and the third run. So there we have another set of matching speeds, and their tie-breaking speed is going to be 127.2. So they're very well positioned going forward now.
Yeah, I think that was Brent Culp, if I'm not mistaken.
Car 974 up next. Goes 111.8. Went 111.1, 112.1, and then 111.8. Kelly Hazenauer coming from pretty close in North Platte. Car 717. Mustang shifts one more gear.
130.2.
And goes 130.2. Might have been a downshift because it's a slower time than 136.4 or a 135.6 the first time out.
Carly Bates is next from Eagle Mountain, Utah.
Carly Bates has got a pretty darn cool Mercedes coming up next, Brent. This thing is gorgeous. I don't think there's a single car in this field I'd turn away. You know, I was asking, what would you rather, any of them?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think any car here today I would gladly put in my garage.
128.5 second time out for Carly. Second time, or this third time out, 128.6, so just a tenth of a mile an hour off. Jack Schmidt up next, car 605, trying to get around that 127, 126 mark. It was 127.9, just 3/10 off to the closest speed. Thank you again to Lucas Bell. He's bringing you some different drone footage. He's going through all the drone batteries known to man. And as you can imagine, batteries for things are not cheap, so he's been charging them up and trying to fly up and get as many different shots as possible for you throughout the day. 137.2. Now Tom Starr, who just went across, already had two matching speeds of 137.4. So Tom's sitting pretty now with that 137.2 to go in there with it. Quentin Dolson up next. Mustang from Canada. 146.7, the slowest of his three speeds here today.
You know, we've been sending out thank yous throughout the broadcast. Need to thank the folks who bring the generators to supply us with electricity here at this event.
Yeah, solar wouldn't get it done, would it? Car 7 up next. Kirk Sharp from Valentine. Was 156.2 miles an hour. Fastest time for Kirk today was a 160.4. Again, three people so far with matching speeds. That would be Roger Tishner. Car 186, I don't have the name written down, and then Tom Stahl. Here goes a Porsche wearing number 64. Robert Sarger, 146, even. Puts the foot on the pedal and goes the fastest speed of the day.
Your question was 186, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that was Brent.
That was Brent
Brent
Culp.
and Heidi Cope
Okay.
from Arnold. Yep.
Car number 28, Ralph Johnson. 133.1. Pretty darn close to that 132.7 from the second round.
Car 589, Alan Edmonston from Longmont, Colorado.
Car 589, Alan Edmonston. Went 146.7 and 146.5. And goes 145.6 for three very close speeds.
Car 302.
I can't even walk a consistent speed for more than 10 feet, let alone drive a half mile or a mile at a consistent speed. Comes that Boss 302 Mustang. Goes 128.6. Just barely the slowest speed in comparison to the 129.1 and the 128.9.
33 is next. Adam Rogers from Durango, Colorado in a 2007 Porsche.
Adam Rogers up next in a 2007 Porsche. Went 137.7 and then 139. Let's see what happens here. 138.5, only a half mile an hour off.
R83, Keith Bisson from Howell, Iowa.
Keith Bisson coming to us from Iowa next for run number 3. Keith and his Camaro floating right around that 86 mile an hour mark the first two times out. Went 86.6 and then 86.1. I don't know. It looks like it's going to be in the 80s again. 86.1 matches that speed number 2 run. Leave it to a Camaro to make 86 miles an hour look so smooth. You know, when I go 86, I'm white knuckling it, and Keith just comes out here and is just, we'll just match this speed.
I'm glad you said that. I was thinking the same thing.
135.8 for Jim Stainer to go with a 134.4 and a 135.4. Alan Dolman up next. 146.7 and then a 145.3 for Alan. This blue Camaro. Love this color. Love the sound too. 144.3 on run number 3.
Car 45, Greg Kruger from
We've got 19
Iowa.
cars left here in the half mile, and then things will this is a horrible way to say that, but they will slow significantly because you have more time between cars, but the speeds are still plenty fast.
112.2.
112.2 coming across for car 45. Up next is that 2022 Lexus. 127.7 the first time out, and then a 127 flat. So we see a 127 come up on that speed radar. It'd be pretty good. And it's a 127 too.
Car 111, Chris Edwards from Aurora, Colorado, in his 2015 Ford Mustang.
2015 Ford Mustang coming up next. Only 0.2 off between speed 1 and speed 2. Speed 3 is 128.6. That again is only 0.2 off from an earlier speed. I think another shootout category, Brent, could be the laughing or the make fun of us event. And then we could each enter our cars.
Oh, yeah.
Put my 98 Jeep Wrangler with rust all over it in it. Jay Nightingale, car 585, goes 117.1. Kind of goes right in between his two previous speeds.
Car 911, Jason Walsh from Kearney,
Jason Walsh up next in car 911. Trying to match a 136.8 or a 137.4, and goes 137.8.
Car 113, Brock Anderson, Gothenburg, Nebraska.
Brock Anderson out of Gothenburg. I tell you what, across Nebraska, we talk about the out-of-state representation, but Nebraska kind of peppered with good representation every year.
132.8.
132.8. That's within 1/10 of a mile an hour from speed number 1 for Brock.
Hey, you talked about representation for the state, representation for the area. It's really increased when you think about the 20-plus years that this event has been going on. A lot more people from within a 100-mile radius now participating in this event.
Car 23 is Les Steinoff.
From Ontario, California.
Oh, there it is. 121 flat. Now listen to this. 121 flat the last 2 times out. A 121.1 the first time out. 3 speeds all within 1/10 of a mile an hour for Les. Rob Bilderback coming up next in the Acura NSX. The Acura goes 119.6 to go with the 120 and 113 and change speeds. John Slack up next. That's Subaru BRZ.
Car 51, Bennington, Nebraska. 2017
and a 106.8 and a 107.3. Car 51 goes across at 107.1, just 0.2 of a mile an hour off of the second speed. The one thing I was looking at, Brent, when I was looking at these names from last year in comparison to who's competing this year, here comes Lyra Holt, by the way, cruising in that Tesla. 150.8. These racers put in their name for an application process and an acceptance process, and it's not guaranteed unless they're a Sork lifer that they're going to have a space each year. Sometimes there's 1 or 2 years between the opportunities for us to see some of these names we've become familiar with, and the Sork lifer application, according to the website, is not open at this time. So a lot of people want to get in there and race. Clint McKenzie goes 118.8 to go with a 114 and 116 and change speed from earlier. Matt Tehan coming up next in car 308 from Halsey, representing the area code. Well, your area code. I'm still rocking the 402 number.
Oh, really?
How long do you have to be somewhere before people start giving you a really hard time about not changing your phone number? And the Tehans go 113 miles an hour flat.
Ah, the world of cell phones.
Dave and I were having an in-depth discussion about phone numbers the other day, and he was talking about how landline numbers, not all that long ago, you just had to dial what, the 2 and then 4 other digits behind it to make a local call in Broken Bow?
138.6.
138.6 for Barry Conkin to go with the 137.5 and the 138.3. Number 40 is the Lamborghini of Darren Brewer. Went 152.6, then 152.4. And now goes 152.8. But he's consistent, just 0.02 off each time out. The wind is going to make things increasingly difficult as we continue to get more and more cars coming across here.
It has certainly picked up from when the event started today, that's for sure.
Here comes that Audi, black with the chrome trim, beautiful car. Cruising through at 119.5 miles an hour to go with a 116.6 and a 121.2.
Car 92, Robert McCullough.
Just my luck, you know, you mentioned the wind and then it kicks up even more, right?
Yes. That's usually the way it works.
Should have known better. Car 92, another one of those mid-engine Corvettes. Love those. 138.2 to go with a 138.7 and a 138.9. All very close.
I was visiting with our good friend Clay Moore, who worked so hard to set a lot of this stuff up for this shootout event. And I told him, I said, man, what a beautiful morning. And I think he was ready to smack me. He's like, don't jinx it.
Robert McCullough up next, goes 148.2. That is Robert's fastest speed of the day. And just like that, Brent, we're down to our final 2 cars of the half mile.
Wow. They really do a phenomenal job of running this event, keeping the cars going and always something to watch.
There goes the GTR. Is it over 200? No, but over 170. 171.5.
That's the last one half.
And we won't see a third run from Eric Schmidt in his red Corvette. Had 2 good first 2 runs, 161.4 and then a 161.2 for his first 2 speeds. So they'll move the starting line back to the 1 mile spot. And this gives us an opportunity to again thank some of our sponsors. This time around, I want to thank the video sponsors. Those of you that have been watching the video on YouTube or Facebook have seen these names going across your screen in the top right-hand corner. Those of you listening on the radio, you can see those names as well if you go and watch the video replay. Thank you to BD of Broken Bow, the Callaway Market, Aero Aviation, J.R. Meyer Insurance, Trotter Service Broken Bow, Lashley Land and Recreational Brokers, Power Solutions, Cobblestone Hotel and Suites, Rod's Body and Paint, Nebraska State Bank, Govier Brothers Mortuary with the Arnold and Mullen Funeral Homes, Broken Bow Legends Neighborhood Grill, Veriter Auto Parts, the Callaway District Hospital with the Arnold and Callaway Medical Clinics, Mills Hardware, First State Insurance in Arnold, as well as A1 Auto Repair in Arnold, and CarQuest of Broken Bow. And Arnold's going to be the happening place kind of starting this afternoon, Brent, and then that just kind of flows into Saturday, doesn't it? It's kind of Arnold's show from here on out. We go from Halsey to this remote location and then to Arnold.
Big afternoon in Arnold. If you want to come and check out the cars that are participating in this year's event, don't forget they'll do the traditional parade of cars later this afternoon in Arnold. I believe the parade is scheduled for around 2:30, and then after that, around 3 or so, they will display the cars around downtown Arnold, where you can walk around, maybe visit with some of the drivers and get a close up and personal look at some of the machines that are making things happen here at the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. I know many, if not all of them, put the top up, and you can look underneath the hood and take a look at what's inside and what makes these automobiles click, and has been putting on such a great show over 20 plus years here in the area.
Tell you what, these cars are beautiful on the outside, but boy, they're beautiful
on the inside,
under
aren't
the
they?
hood as well. There's some internal engine compartment parts that are cleaner than any part of any vehicle in my garage on the outside or inside.
And then, of course, tomorrow is the big race, the race that started it all, the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Again, a reminder, we'll have coverage of it for you as well on both radio and video. Our video coverage will concentrate on the start line there in Arnold, Nebraska. We'll have a video presentation of all of the cars taking off on the Sandhills Open Road Challenge tomorrow. Race, I believe, is scheduled for 8:30. Is that right?
Yes,
okay.
Correct.
So we'll probably be on the air a little bit before that, and if Mother Nature cooperates as it has the last couple of days, should be able to start on time, but we'll keep you updated on things happening for the race tomorrow. You'll be able to listen to it live on KBBN 95.3 FM and KBBN.com. And again, the live video stream presentation as the cars take off from the start line tomorrow. You can access that through sandhillsexpress.com. If you click on live stream, the tab there on sandhillsexpress.com, it'll take you to the links that you can click on to access the video stream. They would include the Sandhills Express Facebook page and Sandhills Express YouTube channel.
Getting down to crunch time here. This is the mile, and this is run number 3 of 3 for the mile shootout. Kind of a couple of highlights here. Mark Kampner within 0.2 of a mile an hour in his first 2 runs, 170.1 and then a 170.3. Joining him in that category are Scott Fry, ran a 150.3 and a 150.5. Bob Brownell went 161.7 and 161.5. And Kevin Miller ran 0.1 of a mile an hour difference between his 172.9 and a 172.8. And then it was our fourth to last car, Michael Rasmussen, in his 1995 BMW, ran a 133.8 2 times in a row. So we'll kind of see what Michael's strategy is. If you've got the matching speeds for that third run, you can kind of just mash down just in case somebody else matches speeds, so you have the higher speed, which would get you the tie-break win. So kind of see how the strategy plays into different things. I'm sure different racers have different strategies. Obviously, if you haven't matched a speed yet, you kind of want to try to accomplish that next. And the only person that has done that in the mile unofficially on the board that shows is Michael Rasmussen.
And it looks like we've got our first competitor of the 1 mile shootout coming down the runway at this time. Jeff Preston, the local boy from Arnold, Nebraska, getting our first run of this leg of the 1 mile shootout started.
And Jeff goes 157 178.6. Mark Kapner put himself in a very good position if he can match one of his two first speeds, a 170.1 or a 170.3. Reason for that is if he can match one of those other speeds, he would have a faster tie break than a good majority of the field here in the mile shootout. Haven't seen him leave the starting line, but this really tests my eyesight. Does it do you as well?
A little bit.
I don't know if this, I mean, it's a mile away, so maybe I shouldn't be overly concerned about the fact that I can't make out individual cars, but
of course, another big part of SORC is when you hand out the awards, and they'll be doing that on Saturday evening at the beautiful City Park in Arnold, Nebraska. They'll be handing out the awards given out for the loop-to-loop race, the shootout that we're finishing up here this morning, and then the big race itself, the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. They'll send out all of the awards and announce the winners of each event tomorrow evening at the Arnold City Park. They also do some other special things too. There will be some recognition of some people who have been helping with this event, and they always thank some special people during the night, and they even do some fundraisers as well, which, since we have a moment as we wait for the next car to come down the runway, I think that's a part of SORC that maybe we don't talk enough about. There is a lot of money that is raised through the Sandhills Open Road Challenge organization, and a lot of money donated from the people who participate in the event that sometimes goes back into the community, I believe. I even want to say there might be some scholarships involved, but there's a lot of money that is generated in fundraising through the Sandhills Open Road Challenge, and I think you have to give credit to the people who come and participate, who give donations not just to the event itself, but to the community, and a pretty neat thing.
I can tell you one thing. They always contribute forward the maximum amount of money that they possibly can while also keeping the event going. That is for sure. Car 59 is Kevin Hanshoe, just coming through at 160 miles an hour flat. That's 0.8 off of his second speed time of 159.2.
Car 811, Mark Kapner.
Here's Mark Kapner. He's going to come down next. 170.1 and a 170.3 the first two times out. Again, Mark looking to even one of those two speeds in order to put himself in a really good position here in the mile shootout. The cattle, by the way, give you a cattle update. They've moved completely. They've moved completely out of sight on both directions. I'm always keeping an eye out. 169.5, the slowest of three speeds for Mark, but again, he's only 0.2 off. Might be just enough to get him onto a medal podium because he has the fastest close speeds of the folks that are unofficially off by 0.2. So we'll keep that in mind. Gavin Higgins, who helped us in the past and was a former news director for KCNI KBBN. Vipers were his favorite, like this one.
171.5.
Jack Jones goes 171.5. Just a half mile an hour off of the 172 flat that he did earlier on this morning.
Car 25, Leroy Uhrig from Pierre, South
Leroy
Dakota.
Uhrig up next.
Mustang.
08 Mustang coming down next. The stretch of road, again, that they close off is much more than a mile. They close off the road a little bit behind the starting line and significantly after the finish line, so they have enough time to slow down. A 167.7 for Leroy to go with his 168.7 and a 171.5. So Kelly Bork will come up next. Car number 15.
Kelly Bork, Sioux Center, Iowa, 2019 Corvette.
Here comes the Corvette. Kind of a deep orange, almost reddish color. Goes 164.1. That's just a 1/10 of a mile an hour off from the 164 flat ran in round number 2. So Kelly in pretty good position there, as there's only one matching score, one matching speed at this time, and then one other person within a 1/10 of a mile an hour. So Kelly being put in pretty good position there. Todd Gransky coming up next in car number 67, shooting around that 177 mark. 177.2, about a half mile off from the 177.7 from round number 1 for Todd.
I think about the people who came up with the idea of this over 20 years ago, Jeremy. They have to be just amazed at what it has become. I mean, when you try something for the first time, you never know if it's going to work. And now here you are in the 23rd year of it, and man, what a big event it has become.
Jason Rader up next, car 462, the Mustang. Goes 158.1. Pretty close to that 158.7 earlier on. Yeah, and you know, the Sork race was, of course, the first of the 3, and then later on added were the loop-to-loop as well as the shootout. The shootout, like we kind of talked earlier in the broadcast, is become an event at other road races across the country as well. Car 289, Aaron Anderson up next. Aaron goes 160.7. I was putting together materials for the race today, and I was looking at Google Maps. And man, you can tell exactly where the shootout location is just by looking at the street from the sky. It's just weaving in and out of the sandhills, and then bam, there's a mile of straight road, and then it continues weaving after that. It was just meant to be. Chad Christensen now. Looking for the 180s.
183.2.
183.2 puts him within 2/10 of his second round speed of 183.4. So Chad in a very good position, because if it comes down to being within 2/10, he certainly has one of the faster speeds if there was a tie break. But again, he could be closer than that. 2/10 is all we're seeing on the board in front of us. He very well could be exactly on or within a 1/10. Wayne Hora up next, looking for a 166. He gets it. 166.6 to go with a 0.9 and a 0.2 from earlier on.
Car 8, John Schmidt, Lincoln, Nebraska.
John Schmidt coming from Lincoln up next. 08 Corvette. John up there in the 180s as well, went 183.5 and then 184. And it's a 183.6.
You know, I was thinking about area communities who now have the speed sign as you're coming into town.
Oh yeah, with the flashing lights on it.
To show you to slow down. Can you imagine if they left this up and didn't take it down? You think people would be tempted to punch it on this 1 mile stretch and see what their speed would be?
You better believe it.
And see how fast they could get.
And if they didn't the first time through, they'd drive back around and try it again. He goes RT Green. 153.6. 158.6. He's got that Challenger dialed in. Went 154 and a 154.5 the first 2 times out. I got to tell you, if we went 4 rounds, I don't know that our laptop here that we're streaming out of could take it, honestly. You could fry an egg on this thing.
A little, yeah, the sun right behind us is kind of coming down on it pretty strong.
Car 112 scheduled next, Jared Helge. Jared goes 170.8 to go with a pair of 171 and change speeds. That brings us on to our final page of mile shootouts.
Well, as we think about fastest runs so far today, we've had 2 go over 200 miles an hour. One of those happened in the half-mile shootout. One of them happened in the mile shootout.
And I don't think we're going to see Mr. Rohrbach's car come back as it's sitting over here next to us, so he's going to have that final speed of 201.8. As Jared Roberts goes 155 flat to go with a 151.3 and a 154.3. Perry White is scheduled to come up next. This is a name that came up several different times in our results from last year. Perry was the mile super street winner with a 186.1 average, and then also was the 1 mile King of the Hill winner with a 186.7 mile an hour individual run. So Perry knows all about it. $189.1. Perry mashed it down there. That's his fastest speed of the day.
Again, we want to keep reminding you that tomorrow we will have live coverage of the big race itself, the Sand Hills Open Road Challenge between Arnold and Dunning. We'll have live radio coverage of the start of the race. We'll do a live video stream as the cars take off tomorrow morning. And then also a reminder, Dave Burney will be on the other end. He'll be around Dunning, and he'll have coverage of the cars coming back during the race tomorrow that you can listen on KBBN 95.3 FM, car 392 coming across the line at 150.7 miles per hour.
And that's pretty good for Scott Fry because he's gone up in speed by 0.2 of a mile an hour each time so far. Dan Axelmit up next, car 77. We see a 164 come across the radar this time around. That'll be pretty darn good. He's got a 164.7 and a 164.4 so far this morning. 165.1, slightly faster. We're about 25 minutes away from not saying this morning to changing it to this afternoon, but definitely can't complain about how smoothly everything has gone. Haven't had many delays at the starting line. That's just a testament to everyone doing those safety checks down there, having a good system in place, moving everything along smoothly, and getting those cars up there on the starting line ready to go when that flag waves. Jay Hill up next in car 221, the yellow Corvette coming across. Does 160.6. Bob Brownell scheduled on deck in a 66 Corvair. Already within 0.2 of a mile an hour with his first 2 speeds, looking to get a little bit tighter inside of that. Might be a better way to kind of ensure himself some hardware. Again, we've had a couple of matching speeds here in the mile. Had several at 200th, so you kind of try to be at that 100th or exact number. There goes Bob. 160 flat. Kevin Miller is up next. He's in the category of having speeds unofficially within 1/10 of a mile an hour, or 1/10, excuse me, of each other. Ran a 172.9 the first time out, and then a 172.8. And now runs a 173. So he'll stay with that unofficial 1/10 of a mile an hour off. And in many cases, Brent, we're seeing these cars going faster here during the shootout than they will go in either the loop-to-loop race or the Sork race, because those tech speeds are usually right around at that 145 mile an hour mark, which means they're not allowed to go over that during those races. And that just kind of shows how much power these cars are willing to offer up when you push the gas pedal, because there's still a lot left there.
Yeah.
Car 606, pickup 606, I should say. 138.4. Closest speed to that for Joe was a 137 flat.
Car 321, Jim Miller from North Platte, Nebraska.
Jim Miller from North Platte.
2005 Viper.
156.9 and a 160 flat. Going to look to match that 160 if possible. There goes Jim, and Jim hits 160 flat just like he needed to. So we have another matching speed here in the mile division to go with Michael Rasmussen, who matched his 133.8s. And those are our only matching speeds here in the mile. And to do it on the third run, very cool.
Yeah. Unofficially.
Unofficially.
But that's what the board is saying, yeah, pretty neat.
I got to get back into that unofficially mode and making sure to get into that for fall sports season, you know.
You don't keep official stats, Shipe?
No, sir, I do not. But you know who could probably keep official stats and we'd be pretty comfy with them?
Who's that?
This guy to my left right here. Did you ever do a football game with him?
I have not, no.
Grant Winter keeps a good book.
His was the only book that I could read afterwards. I know that.
I can 100% see that. Man, mine's a mess.
He has the best penmanship of anybody I've come across.
Car 411, Ethan Butke up next. Goes 122.8. Pretty close to that 123.1 he had in the second round. We've skipped Daniel Metzger for the time being, car number 88, but wouldn't be surprised to see him come.
James Luby from Beaver Crossing, Nebraska.
Or no, that's one of the cars sitting over here. That's Grant and I's one of our favorite cars, the Mercury Grand Marquis. Not going to see a third run from Daniel. Sits over here in the waiting area. Here comes that 79 Camaro, James Luby. 160.2, fastest speed of the day for James. Here comes a soft top Porsche up next. Andrew Rampt, car 981.
Garden Ridge, Texas.
Hit a 162 flat and a 161.3. Andrew comes cooking. Oh, the top's down. All right. 155 flat. You think they told him, okay, you can put the top down, but you got to go under 160. It's probably such a tease, too. You can't even feel the wind in your hair. Got their helmet on. Jeremy Gosson up next of Papillion. Ran a 171.5 and then a 173.5. Searching for something ending in a 5. We'll see what happens. 179.3. He mashes it down. Didn't see James Lockhart this time out, car 311. I don't see it parked over here, so we still hope to see James come down.
2003 Corvette.
John Lucan, 2003 Corvette next. Looking for a 161 point something. He had a 0.2 and a 0.5 here earlier today. $159.6. For all of you watching, comment where you're watching from. I'm curious how far away everybody is watching from. If you want to tap a comment into the YouTube or Facebook comment section, we'd love to see where you're watching from, who you're cheering for. Thanks for tuning in today and checking out our video stream. Welcome to those of you streaming our radio broadcast as well.
169.7.
Doug Jones goes 169.7, right in between his two previous speeds today.
Car 187.
Dustin Sabatka up next in car 187. Our seventh to last car in the 1 mile competition, and might be less than that as we've had truck 720, the second to last, pulled over here into the staging area. Dustin goes 159.3 miles an hour. Fastest speed of the day for Dustin. Bob Bixler coming up next.
1994 Ford Mustang GT.
99 Ford Mustang GT went 132.7 and then 132 flat. So we're certainly looking for something with a 132 to come across the board. Helicopter taking off in the background, might be able to hear it. And Bob goes 133.3. Again, another fastest speed of the day. If I knew what I was talking about, this would be where I talk about, oh, the cement's warming up, Brent. There must be better. I can't even begin to make a statement like that.
2016 Corvette.
Joe Wolf up next in his 2016 Corvette. Hey, look at that. We've got another matching speed. 157.1. A matching speed for Joe Wolf. So your matching speeds to this point. Joe Wolf with a 157.1 twice. You've got a 160 twice by Jim Miller. And you've got a 133.8 twice by Michael Rasmussen, who is scheduled to be next. And it looks like that is, in fact, his BMW. Can he do 133.8 3 times? Or is he going to just try to get a faster speed for a tie break? Wow. I tell you what, he's only 0.2 off that time. 3 speeds, 2 of them matching, the other just 0.2 off from the other. Nick Eckberg scheduled up next. Crowd favorite for sure. People like loud things, don't they? And also it's a 65 Corvette. It's cool and it's loud. If their radio's to 95.3 in there, if there's a radio in there, they can't hear it anyway. As they go flying by at 154.1 miles an hour. I think we'll see one more vehicle as the 720 truck of Matt Voss is parked over to our right here in the viewing area. So I believe to end it for 2023 will be Bill Schneider here in the 1 mile shootout. If there's anybody else after him, I
think it would be their first run.
Well, James Lockhart, we haven't seen him, and I don't see 311. So maybe wow.
That was fast.
194.1. Bill going his fastest today in that NASCAR. Very cool. And my eyesight can see that the balloon over the starting line has already been taken down to the ground. So that indicates to me that does it for the half mile and mile shootouts from here on the Cozad-Callaway Road. We'll take a 3-minute timeout, allow Dave to kind of get some inventory played. We'll come back, we'll give you some last results, and we will thank our sponsors one more time before we wrap things up for our broadcast today.
When you need towing or transport, it often comes at a time that you didn't see coming. That's why Trumbull Repair and Towing Service offers it 24/7. So when you're stranded and need emergency roadside assistance, call Dan at 870-2127. Trumbull Repair offers mechanical service, welding, and mobile welding. Trumbull Repair and Towing Service, a half-mile east of Callaway on Highway 40, but serving the entire area. Call 870-2127.
The Callaway District Hospital, along with the Arnold and Callaway Medical Clinics, love supporting the community, and they're very excited for the SORC organizers as they get ready for the Open Road Challenge. The Callaway District Hospital and Medical Clinics want to remind you of their public transportation service. Call 308-212-0464 to schedule a ride today. Areas served and destinations requested will be evaluated on a first-come, first-served basis. Enjoy the excitement of SORC from the Callaway District Hospital and the Arnold and Callaway Medical Clinics.
At Reed's Food Center in Arnold, they're proud to have served the Arnold community for over 40 years. They remain committed to providing outstanding customer service to everyone who comes through their doors. They're proud to keep local dollars in Arnold, offer the best selections at low prices, and embody small-town friendliness in everything they do. From catering, custom meat cutting, seasoning and tying roasts, to carrying your groceries to your car. Reed's Food Center in Arnold. Like their Facebook page or visit reedsfoodcenter.com. When you're searching for a vehicle you can depend on, it helps to shop where you have a large variety to choose from. At Gateway Motors, their lots have cars, trucks, and SUVs ready for you to check out and test drive. Having a lot of vehicles on their lot means it will be easier for them to find you the right one. Don't forget, whether new or pre-owned, vehicles with less than 100,000 miles come with warranty forever. Proud to support the Sandhills Open Road Challenge action. Gateway Motors in Broken Bow.
Trotter Service is your hometown auto repair and tire shop. Proud to support the Sandhills Open Road Challenge. Whether it's a new battery, brakes, alignment, or any other repair, they have the auto repair specialist to get it done right for all your vehicles. Remember, they offer bulk oil and fuel delivery and on-the-farm tire service too. Enjoy the SORC racing action. Brought to your radio in part by Trotter Service in Broken Bow.
Excited, thrilled, exhilarated, delighted. They're all the above at the Sandhills Corral in Thetford. They're excited to announce a new menu that includes delicious tender steaks that will make your taste buds happier than ever before. Drink specials are always changing too. And make sure you stop by during their new hours, Monday to Thursday, 11 to 10, and Fridays and Saturdays from 11 until 1 a.m. If you haven't stopped in a while, you owe it to yourself to do so. Bring that SORC road racing car to the Sandhills Corral in Thetford.
When you go to the auto parts store, you want to talk to people who know cars. For Lewis and the crew at CarQuest in Broken Bow, it's not just a job, it's their lifestyle. Did you know they offer fleet and farm accounts that give you significant savings on heavy-duty filters? Swing by and ask about it soon. They continue to offer services like making hydraulic hoses, parts washing, and turning rotors. Open Monday to Friday, 7:30 to 6, and Saturday, 7:30 to 3. CarQuest on West Highway 2 in Broken Bow. 11:51 is your time. We'll take a quick timeout to conclude our sponsors, and then we'll go back for the wrap-up.
Anderson Auto Tech is ready to serve you Monday to Friday, 8 to 6, West Highway 2, Broken Bow, just off the curve. Dave and his crew pride themselves on doing the work you need done right while being honest and showing care for your vehicle. For personalized small-town service you won't find anywhere else, head to Anderson Auto Tech. With technology and custom fabricating at their fingertips, they can handle what other shops can't. Anderson Auto Tech in Broken Bow.
The Smoke Shack in Broken Bow invites you to attend Smoke and Spirits, a whiskey and cigar event at Kincaid Brewing Company in Broken Bow. Friday night, August 18th at 6 p.m., join Master Whiskey Taster Kip Gibbons as he walks you through Sideshow Spirits products and processes. A ticket of $35 gets you 2 cigars from the Smoke Shack, a tasting glass to take home, and a flight of 5 Sideshow Spirit products and a swag bag. Get your tickets on evenbright.com. Friday night, the 18th, at Kincaid Brewing in Broken Bow. Smoke and Spirits with the Smoke Shack and Sideshow Spirits.
Racers know that performance cars take a lot of TLC. To run efficiently, they need clean oil maintained by a quality filter. That's why so many drivers trust Napa Gold filters. You may not drive a Corvette at speeds averaging 120 miles an hour, but your family truckster still needs the same care to get your kids to school. Lucky for you, WinQuest is having their fall filter sale September 5th through the 16th. Whether you drive a Mustang or a minivan, we've got you covered. Here's to a safe and successful Sork from WinQuest Incorporated, Broken Bow.
11:53, that is a great list of sponsors that have helped us bring the action to you on the radio. And, of course, there's the other sponsors of different aspects helping us cover it as well. Do want to note that if you want to get a quick look at the cars, they'll be in Callaway to have lunch. And they'll do that before they go over to Arnold for the parade and car show. And so if you're in the Callaway area, stop in. It's kind of a mini car show right there on Main Street, plus a great lunch. Send it back to Brent and Jeremy.
All right, thank you very much, Dave. We are back at the Cozad-Callaway Road one last time to kind of give you folks one last wrap-up of what we saw today, and then we will thank our broadcasts and start packing up equipment and getting ready for Sork coverage tomorrow from Arnold. We'll start in the half-mile shootout. Now, these are all unofficial, as these are just going off of the speeds we saw put up on the display here for those in attendance. The official speeds will be what determine the medal winners at the awards on Saturday evening. Roger Tishner in the half-mile matched speeds of 114.8. Also matching speeds was Tom Starr at 137.4. And